Well, well, well. Man, I am telling you, it is always drama with the Cowboys. But nevertheless, I am looking forward once again to the Cowboys playing the Washington Commanders. Let's go. Drama. It is time for this team to get rid of the drama. And this may be a foreshadowing of the drama being gone with the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Let's go. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up this season. And if you see that hype button, please hit that hype button. Now let's talk facts. Man, let me tell y'all something. This game last night was crazy. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals probably destroyed the hopes of some people as it pertains to Trey Hendrickson in this Cincinnati trade. I'm gonna find it hard to believe that the Cincinnati Bengals trade Trey Hendrickson, but hey, stranger things have happened. But nevertheless, I also saw something else in that game that I don't want to see in the Cowboys game. That game to me looked like the Dallas Cowboys and the Carolina Panthers. And for all intents and purposes, I still believe the Pittsburgh Steelers were the better team. But if you're going to give the Cincinnati Bengals the last drive and your defense can't stop them, they took them out to the deep and drowned them the same way the Carolina Panthers took the Cowboys out, got the last drive, game over. But we can do better than that. We got to take it to the Commanders this week. And I think there are some reasons why we're going to be able to take it to the Commanders. But let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So, our show today, we're going to listen to Jerry Presser, Steven Presser, Shotty Presser. Now, the reason why we're going to listen to those is that all three of them are going to, or at least two of them, are going to say something that's giving us maybe some indications about one of the bigger stories that broke today. But even in the Jerry Presser, I believe there is something big that Jerry let loose. And if you hadn't seen my video, we'll talk about it today. Also, then we're going to start easing our way towards the Washington and the Cowboys preview. We're going to listen to the Brian Broaddus breakdown. Then we're going to listen to the breakdown from one of the local beat writers in Washington on 105.3 The Fan. And then we're going to go over our own weekly game preview of the Dallas Cowboys. So that's the show for today. Jerry, Steven, Shotty Presser, Broaddus breakdown from Washington and the game preview. Let's go. Thank God it is Friday. And let's get into a quick roll call, whether it be 5 or 5,000. We about to talk some good Cowboys today. Let's do this. Dolores Ennis, what's going on? She said G Money is a good nickname, and I'm going to tell you, it's a New Jack City. Let's go. John Jones, he said, what up, G Money? I tell you every time, it's a New Jack City. And in the immortal words of Nino Brown, talk is cheap. Bullcorn runs a marathon. Let's go. Richard Owens up in here. What's going on? Cowboys for life. What's going on? He says C Dangerous Lamb is returning against the Commanders. This offense went from very good to very, very explosive. Yes, sir. And it looks like Avonte Turpin. Looks like Avonte Turpin is back too. Lord Nova in this thing. What's going on, Lord Nova? Richard Villegas, what's going on? John Henry, my sister LaQueen, hope all is well with you. What's going on? Dominique Pittman, what up? Niecy, my sister from the beginning, what's going on? Vinny, TCG, what's going on with you? Jacob Jackson, let's go. What's going on with you? Good to see you. D Moore, yes sir. Yeah, you know it's time to let it all hang out. Yes sir. David Duenes, what's going on? Let's go. Cowboys all day, every day. Stephen White, good to see you. Grace us with your presence. What's going on? Ronin the voice up in this thing. Niecy, what happened to Diggs? We gonna talk about it. JCT Slice, what's going on with you? He said the Commanders aren't the same that they were a year ago. Yeah, that sophomore slump. And not to mention, they missing one of their best weapons, JCT Slice. We're gonna talk about that today. Let's go. Lock and D, what's going on? Always love your reasoning. What's going on? I'm awake, is awake. What's going on? I'm awake. I'm awake, let's go. Brandy, what's going on with you? Good to see you. Let's go. Hail Mary in this thing. Let's go. Jesus Barado. Let's go. Jaden Justin. What up with you? Good to see you. Mr. Get Dirty is back in this thing. What up with you? Yes, sir. Appreciate you. He said keep up the good work. Brian Worley. What up with you? Good to see you. Sooners fan 1985. Good to see you. Philip Williams up in here. What up? Gregory. Good to see you. R32910. What up with you? Pottery 1. Man, good to see you. Good to see you back. Jamal Ism. What's going on with him, Ism? Yes, sir. Good to see you. Derek Rose up in this thing today. What's going on? Good to see you. NL Cough NTX. What's going on? And last but not least, more Eddie 6930. Yeah, we can do it, I believe, too. All right. Man, let's get this thing started. We got a lot to cover today. We are going to get into this Jerry Jones press conference because I am telling you, man, Jerry Jones, boy, I'm telling you, boy, if there's something you want to keep a secret, don't tell Jerry Jones. Don't tell Jerry Jones if you got some secrets. Jerry gonna tell everybody. And Jerry has been doing a little bit too much talking, if you ask me. Head Hunter, what's going on? Rodney Evans, what's going on? All right, let's get into this thing with Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, feeling pretty good. Jerry is feeling pretty good right about now. Let me see. There's a different one. Let me make sure this is the same one from DallasCowboys.com. We're going to listen to the one from DallasCowboys.com. I think it's the same one. But I was listening to one today on 105.3 The Fan. I do think they are one and the same. But let's mosey on over to DallasCowboys.com. I think they got one over here. I want to make sure that they're the same one. Now, let's check this out. Yeah, they're the same one. Okay, good.
It is Jerry Jones. Good morning, sir.
Hey, man, I want some of what y'all are smoking today.
There we go.
Jerry, stop it.
Jerry, it's excitement for a big week.
I'm sure that's got you in trouble in the past, Jerry. Stop it.
Thank you.
I want some of it.
Okay. Now,
what up
Dak
with them
said
boys?
Something yesterday, and I know he was just kind of talking in the context of like, you know, it feels like every NFL game can be a must-win game, and he was like, hey, we got to win this game. We got to do better in the fourth quarter. We have to close out some of these losses that have come late. Do you view this as any semblance?
What's going on, DJ Strife 1? Are you talking about them Jordan 12s? Jordan Strife 1. Man, I got them Jordan 12s for $60 off. Man, I think I bought them things like last week or something like that. Couldn't resist. It matched them Cowboys colors. I couldn't resist. What's going on, Rob Tedford? Yeah, don't you worry. Diggs is pretty much out the door. We all been knowing this.
Of a must-win game?
Well, I thought last week was one that we let get away from us at the end, even though we can certainly pointedly be critical of certain areas of play.
Like and
we had
D.
every opportunity to win
I'm
that
telling
game.
you.
I think what's surprising is people think, well, Charlotte, surely we can be competitive there. That's the misnomer. You've got real parity in the NFL. It frankly has always been there because if you look at the system, it's almost impossible to not think 500 because of the system of the teams that do the very worst year in, year out, get to get the best players. And therein lies the challenge. But the main thing is that's bearing out here. We certainly, while we are not at all happy with where we are with our record, we have a great opportunity when we've got some of the players that we've got the systems in place we've got. Now, you say, well, what about your defense? Doesn't that need work? Yes, it does. It's going to get work. And it has room for improvement that you can tweak defenses and make dramatic difference. The game itself, in my view, has been designed so that you have good offenses. And now everybody doesn't have them, but it's designed, in my mind, rulemaking that offenses have an edge. And we're taking advantage of that edge. But just because it's designed that way doesn't mean we're not going to do a better job of trying to stop them, whether it's on the ground or in the air.
Now, I know I've heard you talk about the parity nature of the NFL several times, and I think you're absolutely right about that. I know it was far from a one-man show. Do you ever go back and regret being part of the group that really pushed for the salary cap and it really pushed this league to parity as opposed to having, some of these super teams year in and year out?
I see you, DC.
Well, I do when it works against me. I regret it. And when it works for me, I've always been for anything that helps the game, helps the interest in the game, as long as it favors the Cowboys. And so you can see where you are, but everybody walks in that room at league meetings. Everybody understands, boy, you're up against the mindset of people that want their team to win it and win it all. Now, the big deal is that, how to do that, and that's where the game comes in. There's all sets of ways to approach most decisions, personnel-wise or, for that matter, scheme-wise. There's all kinds of proponents. And when you incorporate a direction, personnel-wise or scheme-wise, you can rest assured that over half the people will disagree with you. That's a part of what makes this thing the exciting game that it is. I know that years ago, when I first got involved, I went to what I thought and was advised one of the best people for entertainment and TV there was, Dan Burke. He was chairman of Cap City. He had just bought ESPN, and they owned ABC. And he told me at that time, he said, we can't do without football in the NFL, the time of year. But he said there's so many variations on and off the field that it just creates interest every way from Sunday year-round. That's borne out here as I look at it 30 years later.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Jerry, how excited are you right now about having a handful of players, potentially having a handful of players coming back, and CeeDee Lamb and maybe Booker and so forth?
I'm ecstatic. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
We've known that we were going to get players back. We had hoped we'd be in a little better shape on this record right now to get these players back. That still doesn't mean that we don't have a dogfight every time we walk out here. Certainly we all know what challenge we've got against Washington this weekend. But there's no question that getting players that we haven't had, using the reps that the players that have been on the field for us the last 3 ball games, boy, that's priceless for those guys to be getting those reps. And they'll come in here and they'll add depth and they'll add, we'll be able to give repetition relief to some of the players that, let's say, start the game. All of that bodes well. All of that's a part of the journey. Attrition, dealing with injury, is just as much a part of it as the quarter or the football. It just is going to happen. You can't have these men flying around out there like they do without a lot of time spent on the sideline. You need to plan on that, and shouldn't surprise you when you have to deal with attrition, injury.
Jerry, one of the guys that we're still waiting on, and we still have a little bit of time, I forced my wife to watch a bunch of DeMarvion Overshown highlights last night. She was like, this guy's amazing. In your mind, is he the missing link for this defense?
Well, he is. He would dramatically help our our pressures, and he dramatically, as you saw him from sideline to sideline, he has an unusual ability to get outside, all that speed, those instincts, and then can he really wrap them up? He's one of the most unique wrap-up tacklers. And that's the way they're teaching tackling today in the NFL, is to get down there, get in their wheels, and then somehow make a turn that just drops those legs right out from under them when you grab them. And as you've noticed, we've had on our defense, we've had some run after we make those initial hits, getting them down. Well, that has a lot to do with who you're trying to hit, but it also has a lot to do with technique and tackling. Overshown does it well.
Now, he's probably, from everything we understand, that's still another 4 to 5 weeks away. Do you believe that y'all can stay in a competitive mode defensively to get to the point where his return will matter?
Well, we will have something else by the time that we get there.
This is the part I wanted us to get to right here. I want to talk about this for a moment, because what is Jerry talking about? Jerry clearly says that we are going to have something else by the time that Demarion Overshown gets back on the field. Well, what is it? Let me let you hear that again. He said it so nonchalantly, and I was a little bit surprised that the interviewer didn't go back and say, what do you mean you hope to have something else? But listen to Jerry again on this.
Overshown does it well. And then...
And Jerry also mentioned something that I mentioned yesterday, if you pay attention. See, Matt Eberflus, where he's really hurting, he doesn't really have a leader on the defense. He doesn't have not just a vocal leader. He doesn't have a leader who understands the scheme, who's leading the defense, who's a great player. He's above. I mean, he plays above and beyond most of the players on the defense. He doesn't have that player. Well, now if he gets Demarion Overshown back, he gets that player. And so Demarion Overshown will help the demeanor of the defense be better, because you can tell that the defense just looks like it's lost out there. It's like there's no true leader on the defense. There's nobody on the defense that they're actually looking towards saying, lead us. Lead us. Yeah, hey, you're the leader. Lead us. Not only lead us with what you say, lead us with your play, lead us with your attitude, lead us, lead us, lead us. They don't have that. And so that's what Demarion Overshown, I was talking about that yesterday, that's what Demarion Overshown is going to be. But I want you to catch what he just said again, and I can see some of y'all obviously have caught this in this interview too. Let's hear it again.
Somehow make a turn that just drops those legs right out from under them when you grab them. And as you've noticed, we've had on our defense, we've had some run after we make those initial hits, getting them down. Well, that has a lot to do with who you're trying to hit, but it also has a lot to do with technique and tackling. Overshown does it well.
Now, he's probably, from everything we understand, that's still another 4 to 5 weeks away. Do you believe that y'all can stay in a competitive mode defensively to get to the point where his return will matter?
Well, we will have something else by the time that we get there.
Man, Jerry got my spidey senses tingling. Man, I'm just telling y'all. I'm not telling y'all you have to like or love Jerry Jones. I'm just one of these people, I can't hate Jerry Jones. I know that Jerry Jones does some dumb things, but I think Jerry, as much as people say he doesn't want to win, I don't agree with that. I think Jerry's problem is he wants to win his way. Now, the issue is that somebody needs to tell him that, Jerry, you don't have enough football acumen to really push this team where you need to push it. But I give Jerry credit. He hired Brian Schottenheimer, and I think if he'll keep listening and trusting Brian Schottenheimer, I think Brian Schottenheimer can be somewhat of a Jimmy to Jerry. I think if he'll keep listening to Shotty will get him closer. He'll get him closer than he's been in a long time. And so he's talking about getting somebody. There is no doubt about it. That has to be a remark about getting a player. Issue is, just don't know who. I just don't know who the player is. But I'm telling you now, people who say Jerry don't want to win, I can't agree with you because you don't get George Pickens. You don't get George Pickens if you don't want to win. You don't get George Pickens if you don't want to win. I'm telling us Jerry is going to go out of his way. He's going to go out of his way to sign George Pickens. He's going to go out of his way to do it. I won't be surprised if George Pickens, I don't think he'll make more than CD. Well, if he's a number one and CD's a number one, it wouldn't shock me if they got the same deal. It wouldn't shock me. But I digress. Jerry has been moving. And I've already talked about this yesterday. The problem is Jerry didn't, the moves that the Cowboys made, they just didn't turn out. A lot of the moves the Cowboys made didn't turn out. Y'all might not realize it. This is happening to the Buffalo Bills too. The Buffalo Bills made a ton of moves. It ain't working out for them. It happens to other teams too. Even when you think about the Philadelphia Eagles, people act like the Philadelphia Eagles make all these moves and they're great. They make moves and they don't work either. They make moves that don't work. They made moves that don't work, but they got to keep pushing. And I believe that they're going to keep pushing. I don't think they're going to mess with those first round draft picks because Trey Hendrickson, I'm not giving up a first round draft pick for Trey Hendrickson. I'll give up a number 2 for Trey Hendrickson. I'd give up a number 2. And I would try to work out some kind of deal that if the Cowboys are going to get Trey Hendrickson, can't you figure out a way to where Cincinnati, similar to what you did with Kenny Clark, can you get Cincinnati to eat some of the money? Get Cincinnati to eat some of the money with Trey Hendrickson and then see if you can extend Trey Hendrickson about 2 to 3 years. Because if the Cowboys are only going to have Trey Hendrickson for a year, that ain't worth a second round draft pick. If the Cowboys trade a first, it's got to be more than a year. I mean, not a first, but a second. I don't even want to touch them first. But if I want to give up a second for Trey Hendrickson, then I got to make sure that Trey Hendrickson going to be around for 3 years. I need him in that window of Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer. And I've already told y'all before, I don't believe Dak Prescott is going to be let go after he turns 34, 35. I think Dak Prescott's contract is made to extend. I really do. I think it's made to extend. I don't think Dak is going anywhere after 34, 35 if he keeps playing the way that he's playing now. But again, I'm not sure who it is. I'm just telling you, for me, it would just be pure speculation. I don't have no clue who he's going to get. I don't. I have no clue. All I know is this. Jerry is hinting at they're about to do something. Yeah, head on. I said the same thing today. I noticed that Trey Hendrickson didn't play last night. He didn't play last night. I noticed it too. Didn't play last night. Diggs not playing this Sunday. I don't know what it all means, but I'll tell you this. The Cowboys, if they're going to do a second, it's got to be somebody great. It's got to be somebody great. It can't be somebody good. It's got to be somebody great. Big Amish. I believe Nate Newton answered the question. Big Amish said, how in the heck did our coaches not know this defensive dilemma going into the season? They knew but treated fans as chumps. Big Amish, I don't think that's what happened. I think Nate Newton hit it right on the head. All this secret, all this vanilla, we're not going to show anybody anything. The Cowboys should have been working ferociously on their defense, ferociously on that defense during training camp, rather than trying to be so comfortable that they thought they could just not do anything, hide whatever they're doing, being vanilla, and then think you're going to come out the first game of the season, second game of the season, and now you're going to implement the defense. I think this is one of their biggest problems they have going. I think Nate Newton is giving the best explanation for this than I've heard from anybody. It was a mistake. And Nisi even mentioned it yesterday. It was a mistake to not play. We've all right. We had a bad glitch. Bad glitch. Let's see here. Let me get some house cleaning done. Make sure everything is back on the up and up. Okay, we had man, y'all excuse me over here. Had a bad glitch with the internet over here in Dallas, man. So let's see if we can get it back rolling. We done lost probably about 100 something people, but let's see if we can get it back rolling. All right, so let's just kind of pick up where we were. And what we are talking about is that Jerry is saying that he's got something planned. I mean, I'm telling you, a lot of people are saying who they think it might be. Man, I will be honest with y'all. I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue who it could be. I really don't. I see where Baz said he doesn't think it could be Trey Hendrickson. He said he doesn't see where it could be Trey Hendrickson. Baz, I said the same thing. I'm struggling with the fact that Joe Flacco came out and performed like he did last night. I mean, Joe Flacco turned the clock back on us, man. With the way Joe Flacco looked, I'm like, why in the world, why would they try to get rid of Trey Hendrickson when Joe Flacco, at least you need to test it out for another couple of games? Because if Joe Flacco can come in here, if he can come in there and do what he did, man, the Cincinnati Bengals better hold tight. For real. They better hold tight. Because if he can continue at the rate that he's going, man, Trey Hendrickson will be a help for him. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if the Cowboys can get him for a second-round pick and get Cincinnati to maybe eat some of the money, I'd love for Trey Hendrickson to come to the Cowboys. But again, man, Jerry Jones, this is going to have people talking for another couple of weeks, because I'm pretty sure everybody is wondering. A lot of us have caught what he said, and we're just kind of wondering, like, who in the world could he be talking about?
Piece of paper doing X's and O's. Mm-hmm. Then you have some growing pains. Yes, I think our defense will improve. And
now let me let you hear this part. I don't know if you heard this, but let me let you hear what Jerry said.
Get better and better.
Do you think that is?
Yes, and I'm interrupting. I do apologize, but let me give you a.
Now, what he's asking Jerry basically is, does Jerry think his defense can get better? Check this out.
Perspective. We've had 3 different defensive coordinators over the last 3 years. That's my fault. That really is.
Yeah, remember we talked about that.
You were going to have somebody different than the last 2 years when we hired Flus. On the other hand, you look at any of these defenses, they get better and better as the season goes along. That's just part of it. And they get more comfortable with their responsibility. They call it gap integrity. That means be sure you've got your spot covered before you leave it, mentally or physically. And so when that changes to any degree, and you're thinking at 100 miles an hour, it's not like we're sitting down there on a piece of paper doing X's and O's. Mm-hmm. Then you have some growing pains. Yes, I think our defense will improve, and it will improve to in the level of preventing some scoring.
You know, Jerry, I'm glad you said that, because when the Commanders coach, the guy on the other side this weekend, Dan Quinn, was here in Dallas, this defense turned around pretty immediately. And I remember him basically saying, look, they wanted to overhaul personnel longer, faster, stronger. They said that frequently. What do you think was the key to Quinn's quick success here?
Oh, I think that his emphasis on takeaways, and you say, why doesn't everybody have emphasis on takeaways? Because sometimes you leave yourself vulnerable. All the time you're giving up something to get something. And so we were always working to, when people were determined, we were always working to stop the run. But we were very good at taking the kind of risks that are justified and getting turnovers. Mm-hmm. The other day, where we were there in Charlotte, that turnover almost was the difference in the ball game, to show you how valuable turnovers is. Dan had the ability to generate more turnovers and thereby kept us in good shape with the overall defense, and certainly is great for the offense as well. But, not that we don't emphasize them. We are emphasizing them. We've got some guys out there that know how to take that ball away.
See, but the problem is that people don't give the Dan Quinn era, they don't give some of the coaches enough credit around Dan Quinn. You can emphasize turnovers all you want to, but Dan Quinn had Al Harris. Dan Quinn had Al Harris on the staff. And Al Harris he might as well patent the punch out. He might as well patent it. And so it's one thing to say, yeah, we're going to get turnovers. Well, it's a whole nother thing if you got somebody who can teach it. Who can really teach it here? I'd really like to know who's teaching it here. Like, what kind of success have they had in the past in teaching it? That's the issue. Let me read this super chat from Tristan York. Appreciate you, Tristan York. $10 super chat. Say good evening, G and Cowboys Nation. CD back in the lineup. Offense is going to be off the chain. He said offense is going to be off the chain. I agree with you. And I'm ready for the boys to get back on the winning ways. Big win this week. Cowboys 35, Washington 21. Yeah. I feel you on that too. I feel you on that. Yeah, I'm with you, DJ Stripe 1. And Big Amish said, and yeah, don't forget Joe Witt. See, people don't understand, man. Dan Quinn had a really good defensive staff. A very good defensive staff. And look at what's happening in Chicago. I don't care what anyone says. That's the Al Harris effect. Turnovers follow Al Harris. Turnovers follow Al Harris. Cowboys, I believe the Cowboys made a mistake. I believe they made a mistake in letting go of Al Harris. I believe it was a mistake. Yeah, Brandy said the same thing too. She said should have kept Al Harris. Dana Jet, I ain't gonna argue with you. Dan Quinn defense choked 3 straight years. I ain't gonna argue with you on that either. But the thing is, his defense was better than this one because I think Jerry is hitting on something. Because Dan could do 2 things that this defense can't do. Dan could get to the quarterback when the Cowboys played with a lead. He's not like Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus just does not like to. Matt Eberflus does not like the blitz. It's not in his DNA. As a matter of fact, excuse me, I was looking at a post by Skywalker Steele, and I meant to save it. But Skywalker Steele made a great point about Matt Eberflus. And what he was showing about Matt Eberflus is that he was showing, let me pull it up right here. As a matter of fact, I got it pulled up. This is what Skywalker Steele said about Matt Eberflus. Skywalker Steele said Eberflus blitz percentage as a full-time defensive coordinator per Pro Football PFR. It says 2018, he was 29th in blitz. 2018, he was 29th in blitzing. 2019, he was 27th in blitzing. 2020, he was 31st in blitzing. 2021, he was 29th in blitzing. 2025, 21st in blitzing. Why would we expect anything different? Why would we expect anything different? But see, Dan Quinn, as I said the other day, man, Dan Quinn wasn't going out like no sucker. Dan Quinn wasn't going out like no sucker. I mean, Dan Quinn would basically say, if I can't get there with Michael Parsons, I'm going to get there. I'm going to send 4, 5, 6. Dan Quinn wasn't going out like no sucker. Dan Quinn knew how to mask some of the weaknesses of his defense. Problem is, you can only mask so much, though. And I think he made a huge mistake in the game against Green Bay. He decided to run this same dumb defense that Matt Eberflus is running. I don't even understand why somebody would keep doing that. I don't even understand why anybody would do it. But hey, it is what it is. Let's some more Jerry, then we're gonna roll over to Stephen Jones. I think is next because Stephen Jones, Jerry lets us in on the Cowboys are probably gonna get somebody. Stephen Jones gonna let us in on, I think, some insight on this Trayvon Diggs stuff.
And we want to continue to do that, but we also want to incorporate what Flus is trying to do. He'll get there. He will get there.
Now, if you listen to Jerry, Jerry is going to give Matt Eberflus his opportunity, I guess, to improve this defense by the end of the season. Because I saw something the other day that even Mike Nolan's defense improved at the end. Mike Zimmer's defense improved at the end, but Mike Zimmer's defense was so bad even before Michael Parsons got hurt. Mike Zimmer's defense was so bad, he ranked 31st, I think, overall last year by the time it was all said and done. And so I just think we're seeing a replay of Zimmer. We're watching, and I'm really interested to see how does this defense run Sunday without Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs may be a problem for the Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs may absolutely be a problem for the Cowboys. Man, you only as good as your weakest link. And Trayvon Diggs is vocally expressed he doesn't like the defense. Well, what if he's not out there giving it his 100%? Man, I'm telling you, if I were the Cowboys, I would. The problem is with Trayvon Diggs, I just don't know who would trade for him. I'm very skeptical of people who would really want Trayvon Diggs. Who would want Trayvon Diggs? They're watching him. And we got people out there, they're vouching for Trayvon Diggs. No, man. No. Trayvon Diggs don't have the legs anymore. He don't have the legs anymore. I'm just telling you, he don't have the legs. Yeah, I'm struggling too, Tall Jones. Struggling. I'm telling you, man. DJ, there are a lot of people who say that Dan threw that game, man. There's a lot of people that say that Dan Quinn threw that game. I'm just telling you, a lot of people say it. Dana Jet said trade Trayvon for a cheerleader. Dana Jet, I think the problem is I'm not sure if anybody would trade for him. Now, maybe there's somebody out there who's seeing something that some of these people who are vouching, it's amazing to me how some of these, man, I'm just getting to the point. I just have to scroll when I see certain people's names because, man, they think they're the smartest people in the room. And they'll be telling you upside down, left and right that you're dumb, you're crazy, you're wrong if you think Trayvon Diggs ain't this. Man, come on, man. Anybody who's being truthful, man, Trayvon Diggs ain't the same. And I don't even know it's because, the dude is coming off of 2 injuries, not 1. Man, we don't know if Trayvon Diggs is going to ever be the same again. But he may have been a problem. I'm very interested to see how this team runs this coming Sunday without Trayvon Diggs. Y'all do know that means Kyrie Elam gonna get more snaps though, right? DJ Stripe 1, he said we not dead last, we 31.
And he's trying to, an opposite from what you see, he's trying to eliminate those explosive plays. And
you dead on, Regulator? What's going on, Regulator?
A lot of repetition on an offensive possession by the opponent.
Well,
y'all better get ready because Jerry just said he going to get Matt Eberflus to the end of the year, so y'all get ready.
In that instance, Jerry, I don't want this to be any real conflict. I'm just kind of curious.
Well,
I was looking through. I was okay. Then
I'm trying to think of something to say that would create some conflict.
I was
interested in conflict.
Okay, well then,
yeah. Yesterday I was looking through some stories and I stumbled upon a few that said Eberflus's difficulties in communication with his players at the end of his tenure in Chicago. He had some problems with some of those guys in the locker room. Were you guys aware of that, or did y'all investigate that on your own? And if so, what made you comfortable moving forward?
Well, first of all, I don't want to mean that there's that much meat on the bone there.
Yeah. Brady said we 39th in defense.
One thing about Eberflus is we certainly knew Eberflus, knew his background, knew how.
Now see, now y'all know I'll apologize for Jerry Jones, but I'm not apologizing for him on this Matt Eberflus thing. Now Jerry may very well turn out to be right in the future, but we got to call a spade in this whole Matt Eberflus thing. Jerry hired him, and I said this the other day. Jerry hired him out of continuity. Jerry said, we know Matt Eberflus. Man, I'm telling you, I was over here reading a story just a second ago, and it's a story over here on Cowboys Wire. And they were talking about this thing about the Cowboys hiring Matt Eberflus. This article was written today. They were talking about Matt Eberflus being hired, right? And it says, rinse and repeat. Cowboys made a questionable hire at defensive coordinator, then made his job impossible. Now, I'm sure they're talking about getting rid of Micah Parsons on the impossible part. But it says the Dallas Cowboys' new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, has earned respect for his creative offense. However, the team's defense, led by coordinator Matt Eberflus, is struggling significantly. This situation mirrors the team's 2020 season with an offensive-minded coach hired a defense coordinator who was ultimately unsuccessful. The defensive struggles have been compounded by the trade of star player Michael Parsons and questions about Matt Eberflus's scheme. And it says here, and I want to get to the part about Eberflus. It says in 2020, the club hired Mike McCarthy, a solely offensive-minded head coach, who in turn handed over the reins of that year's defense to Mike Nolan. Nolan didn't inspire much confidence from the outside, but McCarthy believed in him. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? A lot of people don't have confidence in this dude, Matt Eberflus, but who has really thrown themselves behind him? Jerry, of course, has to because he hired him. Shoot. Brian Schottenheimer has really thrown himself behind him too, talking about how good of a coach he is. It says that new era was spearheaded by hiring Dan Quinn and, more importantly, the selection of Micah Parsons. Parsons' immediate world-changing impact was obvious. Quinn had a game record, and Parsons' pressure ability forced opposing offenses to send 2 and 3 blockers to him on most occasions and rush plays or suffer the consequences. He allowed ball-hawking corners Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland to have record-setting seasons in the secondary. See, these people, they give a little too much credit on this. I get what they're saying, though, but let me move on. It says things start to fall apart after that. Parsons was handed off to Mike Zimmer, the new DC, after Quinn took over the big chair in Washington due to a multitude of injuries on both sides of the ball. That included Parsons and quarterback Dak Prescott, along with a questionable scheme. The defense plummeted back to the doldrums, ranking number 31 in 2024. Zimmer had, man, I'm just saying for a lack of better term, Zimmer had hell here too in the beginning. And Zimmer, it's like the Thanksgiving game, and don't even get it twisted. Zimmer improved, but it was still bad. It says Schottenheimer brought with him a questionable defensive coach hiring Matt Eberflus. Now, as much as Jerry is bragging about hiring Matt Eberflus, they're saying that Schottenheimer brought Matt Eberflus with him, that he wanted Matt Eberflus to be the defensive coordinator. So, how about that? It says Eberflus was freshly fired as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. I don't understand why they did that. It said, but even prior to those failures, watch this. Did I not say this the other day? It says, but prior to those failures, he wasn't anything special as a defensive coordinator. I said the same thing. Jerry hired Matt Eberflus out of his own continuity because he was familiar with him because he spent multiple years with the Dallas Cowboys. There is actually nothing that screamed that the Cowboys should have hired Matt Eberflus, other than the fact that he was an ex-Cowboys coach and Jerry liked him. So Jerry is saying, at least right now, I've heard this story from Jerry before, though. Jerry is saying he's going to stick with him and see what happens.
He's involved in his coaching, knew times when it didn't go good for him, and knew times when it did go good for him. We know Eberflus. And I can tell you he's a young 50-year-old coach that's had head coaching experience in the NFL. You say, well, that's where's that right now if it's important? It's just a part of a makeup. And what you really want more than anything is in times like these, you don't want people that break and run.
Jay Recruiter, I'm wondering what's going on with Phil Maffa, though.
Hang in, stick in there, look pragmatically, make the adjustment if necessary, but do it begrudgingly because Flus has a plan, and he has a plan of what he wants our defense to be. It hadn't worked. It always looks bad, boys, when it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Yet there's a lot of pats on the back when it does. If you can't take that, you can't coach in the NFL.
Also last year, Jerry, you told us that if you played Cliff Kingsbury's offense before, it's a little bit easier to pick up after that. Do you think that his offense is super simple and you're going to destroy it?
Wow.
I'm just
No. I'm not doing anything to the question there, and for obvious reasons.
Gotcha.
No, I have all the respect in the world for Washington, Dan Quinn, the organization that owns Washington, and, of course, we play them twice a year. But, look, we can get our stuff together. It just shows this past weekend that was a surprise that they came out of there with loss. But it just reminds us of how competitive things are. Every game is, when it used to be, let's say I'm going to go to college, you had games that had a certain level of just excitement about it, like a bowl game. Mm-hmm. You had some games, but not all games. Every game in the NFL is like walking out there and playing in the Rose Bowl or playing at that high level. Every game requires that. And every player on that field is inordinately talented. And you got to play like that. And when you mess up real good, you will pay for it. So that's what I love about the game and love about being involved. And there's no way to be involved in this thing. As our fans, there's no way to be involved and have a lot of only happy days. You're going to have some down times. For me, I use that to feel good in the good times. And I look forward to it when I get hit on the end of the nose, and that helps me through it.
Now, you yourself have played in plenty of those big-time games, especially at the collegiate level. There was a lot of discussion coming out of last weekend's game about physicality, whether it's from your experience or as a player or now running the team. What percentage of physicality in this game do you think is set up by pure talent, by scheme, versus just pure want to?
If the want to is a bigger deal than we want to make it, and it's particularly a big deal. The want to, the going out on a practice or going out in a game, and just having accomplished, gone out there and taken the effort and the punishment that goes with this game. This game's, you mentioned it several times, the physical aspect. This game has you do unnatural things, not natural things. Mm-hmm. And you're supposed to get out from in front of it, not over in front of it. And so you got to call on yourself all the time to play this game. More often than not, you've got something hurting. And so you got to do that with some pain. And then you should be tired as time goes along in a game. All of this is a part of it. But you put all of that together, and it's got to be more than just shooting, than just a play. It's got to be a satisfaction of having gone through that physically, mentally, and then at the same time do your job and get a win. And I emphasize that because that's the bond between the players.
J-Tex made. Let me read some super chats, and I'm gonna come back in here to J-Tex made what he said. Let's see here. K Choice, appreciate that super chat. K Choice. What's good, G? We need to allow another cornerback to play other than Elam. Problem is, I don't know if we got another cornerback. I'm seeing where Kalen Carson could be ready, but that ain't saying much. Kalen Carson ain't saying much. It's gonna be Elam. You know what? What's the guy named Triquez? Maybe Triquez gets some game this week. Maybe we get to see Triquez. I forgot the guy we got right there at the end of right there at the before the season started. We got the Triquez kid. Maybe he gets to play. Randy Cadell, appreciate that super chat. Man, I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. Trade him to the Packers. Now, I can tell you this part, though. Now, the last part, they ain't giving us Jacobs. Boy, I wish they would give us Jacobs. Boy, man, I wish they would give us Jacobs. Boy, let me tell y'all. Man, Brian Schottenheimer would lose his mind to have Jacobs in the backfield with Javonte Williams. He'd lose his mind. You might see Dak Prescott throw the ball only 20 times in a game if he had those two running backs. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Trade him to Green Bay. Problem is, I just don't know if Green Bay will want him. Tristan York, he said, G, when Turpin returning? I think Turpin is returning Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Turpin is returning on Sunday. This offense is going to be stupid scary when healthy, and if the defense turns it around, wow, it's going to be awesome. Tristan York, I think the defense is going to turn it around. I don't think they're going to be no top 15 defense, but I think as things go on, I think the Cowboys can get themselves back to around, let's say, between 25 and 20. I think it is going to improve. But in the meanwhile, the next 3 weeks, forget about it. It is going to have to be a scoring fest for the next 3 weeks. And I do believe that we can achieve the scoring fest for the most part. There's only one team that has me a little bit reluctant as it pertains to being a scoring fest. I think the Denver Broncos may give us some problems. They got a really good defense. They may give us some problems. But everybody else, I think we should be able to put up 35 points, 38 points. Because that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to put up 30-plus points to beat any of these teams that we have coming up. We're going to have to put up 30-plus points. There's no doubt in my mind. Daniel M. in here, what's going on? Hey, Daniel M., this is a must win. This ain't no need. This is a must. We must. Too Tall Jones, he said, Flus, first year DC 20 through 2018, 4 years with the Colts, 28 losses. And this year, Cowboys, all 6 games, to me, losses, 1 tie. One tie. So his first year's DC, 2018 years past 2009 linebacker coach, 2009 through 2015. Yeah, I showed that the other day in Too Tall. I couldn't figure out what made what is the I couldn't correlate what is their thing about saying that he's had success in this league. I couldn't correlate it. It don't add up to me. I don't call what they call success about Matt Eberflus. Here it is again. Let me put up here real quick with Too Tall Jones. Ice Wall Cowboy, what's going on? Let me put up here what he said, what Too Tall Jones is talking about. I had this up yesterday. I mean, I don't really understand what they're saying about his career. I'm telling you, I know why Jerry hired Matt Eberflus. Familiarity, continuity for himself. I think Brian Schottenheimer was somewhat, I guess, familiar with him too. And that's why he hired him. But I really think, and again, the Cowboys probably wouldn't have wanted to pay what Robert Saleh got from San Francisco, but I wish they'd have got Robert Saleh. But that's water under the bridge. I mean, look at his record. 5-11 with the Cleveland Browns, 2 years in a row, linebacker coach. Cowboys, I mean, 8-8 for 3 years with the Cowboys. Then he had some success in 2014, had some success, and he's a linebackers coach, of course, still. Cowboys, he's the pass game coordinator, 2016, 2017, 2017. But, you know, people talk about how good he was in Indianapolis and all of that. Come on, man, 79, 11, and 5. 79, 11, and 5, 9, and 8. I don't understand it. I just don't call that for me, I just don't call that success. I don't think it was enough success to even warrant the Chicago job. It's not enough success for me. And no matter how good people say his defense was in Chicago, he was the head coach. Even when he took over, he was the head coach and he was calling the defense. 7-10, 4-8. I think he took over kind of maybe half the season in 2023, and then, or however it is, to me, I don't get all this success that Jerry plauds on him, talking about, you know, what he's seen in this league. Bro, I just think it was a bad hire. And I talked about it when they hired him. I did a breakdown on him when they hired him, talking about I said his defense was going to be a problem. I said that bend don't break defense was going to be a problem because it requires super studs on a defense that's bend don't break. I said it was going to be a problem. Randall Cadell, he said they might because their Star Parsons wants him. Wish they would, Randy Cadell. Shoot, bring him on over there. Shoot, I'd love for him to do it. Bam Bam Gaines, what up? He said the only way this defense improves is by changing who's on the field in crucial moments. Bam Bam Gaines said this the other day. The Cowboys have got to determine who are their best players that give them the best chance to win. Stop all this rotational nonsense, and you leave those players on the field most of the time. And then you can rotate some people in and out here and there. But you need to get your core of the players who are playing hard, who want jobs, and who give you the best opportunity to win. You need to get them and keep them on the field.
I'm going to do my job. Please do yours. Don't leave that gap until you know they're not coming through it.
Jerry's trying to explain. And this is the thing about Jerry, man. Some people don't love Jerry on this, but you just got to love Jerry and understand who he is. Jerry wants so bad to be validated as a football mind. This is why he's going through all of this, explaining this gap integrity. We know what gap integrity is, Jerry. We especially know what it is this year because your team hasn't been, your defense hasn't been exercising it. So we know exactly what gap integrity is.
Please do yours. So they create a accountability to each other as a team game with 11 players out on that field. That is the most important part, is the accountability to each other and the feeling you've got when you've done a job well done.
Jay
That's
Recruiter,
bigger than.
I mentioned this on X the other day. You said Eberflus is a nice guy and a linebacker whisperer. I mentioned this on X the other day. It's strange to me that he's the linebacker whisperer, and that seems to be one of the weakest positions on the team. I don't understand it. How are you the linebacker whisperer? You bring Jack Sanborn with you, who those people in Chicago went nuts when they let him go. He comes over here, and we think Jack Sanborn trash because of the play. Most people think he trash. I don't understand how he's the linebacker whisperer, and the linebacking position is the worst. Daniel said, gee, since he won last night, I think so too. Hendrickson is off the table. I think so too. I think Hendrickson is off the table. Unless they turn around and lose the next two games. But I don't think Flacco with that wide receiver core. Nah, I think Flacco gonna slice and dice. And the hopes of Cincinnati is going to be rebuilt again. I think he gonna slice and dice.
Some of the accolades.
Jerry, I think that goes perfectly with the question I'm about to ask here. Sean and RJ had Nate Newton on the other day. He was phenomenal for an hour. He was great, but
Boy, hold on a second. Neezy said linebacker whisperer. Hell, he needs to start yelling. He needs to start yelling because them linebackers, I already know, she said them linebackers are bad. Boy, Neezy. This man, Matt Eberflus, got these linebackers in Dallas looking like trash. I mean trash. He got them looking bad up in this thing. How you gonna be the linebacker whisperer? Man, that was the one part I said that was gonna be the best part of the Cowboys. That was the most improved part of the Dallas Cowboys defense. Shoot, prove me wrong. One of the worst parts of the defense. Proved me wrong. Because he is not the linebacker whisperer. Ice Wall Cowboy, he talking about Jack Sanborn. He said he's slow as Christmas. Man, you better believe it. My grandmother used to say, shoot, slow as molasses. Bam Bam Gang said Sanborn was trash until we saw what it's like without him. Now he's all right. Hey, Bam Bam. He back on the field this week too, I believe. Yeah, I think he's going to be back on the field. The regulator, I'll never understand giving up Mukwamu. I'll never understand it. And I don't even understand giving up Zion Childress. It don't make sense. Those two moves to me didn't make sense. They didn't. Daniel said he would trade for a fifth for Bradley Chubb, a sixth for Demario Davis, since we aren't going to give up the high picks. No, we're not going to give those up. Yeah, we need to go for the short term. Those would be short-term moves. Yeah, those would be short-term. I wouldn't be mad about them doggone fifth and sixth rounders. I wouldn't be upset about that. Bass, I don't think anyone understands Zion Childress and Izzy Mukwamu. I don't think nobody understands those two. They must have made somebody mad on the coach staff mad.
He told a story of Charles Haley standing up in the Cowboys locker room and addressing every single person in there and basically challenging them for greatness. Who in your mind in this defensive team has that voice that can do something like that in this locker room?
They don't have it. It's Demario
That's
Overshown.
why that we have such a chance. It's our quarterback. It is a dream that guy in that position has that kind of thing that Charles Haley was exhibiting.
Now, I agree with him that Dak Prescott does have that kind of cachet. But they need somebody on the defense. Because if you listen to Dak Prescott when they started talking to him about how bad the defense is, Dak Prescott said, I'm focused on my side of the ball. That side of the ball is going to get better. Dak can, on game day, Dak can pump him up. Dak can motivate him. But the problem is, Dak isn't on the field with them when they get on the field. Charles Haley was on the field with the defense, and he could not only challenge them in the locker room, but he could kick them in the butt while he was on the field and while he was on the sideline, while the offense is out there on the field. He can be over there. Hey, get it together, defense. Let's go. Blah, blah, blah. He could do that. Demarion Overshown is that player. But he can't do it yet because he's not on the field. You need that player on the field too. Not just on the offensive side like Dak is. No, they need that defensive player not only on the sideline, he needs to be on the field, in the trenches with them, coaching them, telling them, get it together, you here, you there, let's make this play, let's get them off the field. It's Demarion Overshown. Jerry is right. You need him like yesterday. Hey, Bernard Fields, what's going on with you today, my brother? Good to see you. Bernard Fields, look at this. You make a perfect point. Nobody even on the coaching staff, if you're talking about that can be that voice, Matt Eberflus is not a magnet. Matt Eberflus is not a magnet. You want to know why Dan Quinn? You want to know why Dan Quinn's team did what it did last year? And why Dan Quinn's team it's kind of in the thick of it right now, but I think Dan Quinn is about to experience now that his motivation, his will, the way he builds cultures when he goes into organizations, the stuff that he does can only go so far now because this schedule that the Commanders, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants have, it is so difficult that you can't will yourself through all of those. You can't will yourself through this schedule. You're going to have to beat somebody. But if you look at the team that Dan Quinn has, name me the superstars. Name me the superstars. Dan don't have those superstars. Dan Quinn don't have those superstars. But Dan himself is a magnet. Dan himself is a motivator of men. Dan rolls up them sleeves and he'll get out there and he'll be hitting those he'll be hitting those dummies. He'll be hitting those players. He'll be in there demonstrating things. That's the kind of coach Dan Quinn is. Matt Eberflus ain't that. Matt Eberflus is exactly what he looks like, a brainiac. The glasses, the neat haircut, the demeanor. He comes to the press conferences well prepared, things written out. He's ready for every question. He's got the answer even if it ain't on the field. Matt Eberflus is a teacher of the game. The dude ain't dumb. I'm not going to let nobody tell me that this dude is dumb. He's not dumb. Problem is, though, he's not a magnet. He's not a magnet. He's not a motivator of men. He's a teacher. But Matt Eberflus, for lack of a better term, for lack of a better explanation, he needs smart players. Matt Eberflus needs smart players. Not only smart players, but smart players with athleticism. He needs some smart players. Michael Parsons was going to be one of those smart players with athleticism. Demarion Overshown is one of those smart players with athleticism. Kenny Clark is a smart player with athleticism. Also Diggy Zua. But kind of when you get past that, and I'm not saying these players are dumb, they have to be smart in a sense to know some of these things you have to know about this game. But what I mean by smart players, I mean instinctive players that they not only get the concepts, but they can watch those concepts unfold on the field and they react like it's natural to them. And a part of that comes with knowing the scheme. And so what we're watching is another year. I think a part of what we're watching is another year of these players struggling with the scheme. But I also think it's another year of players not liking a scheme. And I also think as it applies to one Matt Eberflus, I still say he don't match. I don't think he matches Brian Schottenheimer. I think Brian Schottenheimer needed another rah-rah guy. I mean, a guy, he needed a Dan Quinn. Brian and Dan Quinn would work great together because they're the same type of guys. They would have worked great together, I believe. But Matt, man, I'm struggling. Jay Recruiter, Hooker was a leader. Now, let me tell you about Malik Hooker. Problem with Malik Hooker, you can't be failing and be a leader. See, that's one of the problems. It's the same thing with Donovan Wilson. Donovan Wilson is captain. Man, ain't nobody taking that serious. Man, ain't nobody taking Donovan Wilson serious as no doggone captain. Out there getting his butt toasted. That C on the jersey of Donovan Wilson, all due respect to Donovan Wilson, but he cannot play in this type of system, it seemed like to me. That C on the jersey of Donovan Wilson should stand for cooked because he has been getting cooked. He's been getting cooked. I just don't know what the deal. He can't play on the back end. That C on that jersey should stand for cooked. J-Tex made, Quinn is a player's coach, a motivator. He instills belief. Exactly. Yeah. He's wheeled that team to where they were last year, but he won't be able to do it this year. No, he going to have to win. J-Tex is made. He going to have to win this year. And when he plays the Cowboys, he going to have something for the Cowboys, but the Cowboys going to have something for him too. High-powered offense. High-powered offense, man. If he allowed the Bears to put up the points they put up, he better he better get ready. His only hope is getting Dak Prescott on the ground. And I don't think Dak's going to let him do it. See, Jakira, that's the issue. You can't be a captain and you're not playing good. You can't be a captain not playing good because it's hard to listen to somebody who's not playing good, y'all. It's hard to listen. Frankie Lewis, he said we got to win Sunday, period. It's a must-win game. DJ Strife won. He said Aikman would be a great GM for this team. I think he would too, but I don't think it would ever happen. Yeah, you know Jerry ain't going to let that happen. Tristan York, he said Overshown is the Cowboys' Lawrence Taylor G. Yeah. When DeMarion Overshown gets back on the defense, it's going to exponentially improve. The play will get a little bit better when DeMarion Overshown gets back on the field because the defense will have confidence in him. See, when you got a player, let's just think about a player even like Michael Parsons. I didn't think Michael Parsons, I just didn't look at Michael Parsons as a leader of men. But when you can play like Michael Parsons, even if you're not a great leader, but because you play well, guys look at you as a leader from the standpoint of they're confident in you because you can make plays. They're confident in you because you can make plays. And again, it don't mean that they're looking at you as the leader, but they do have confidence in you because you can make plays. And so when you can make plays, it gives them a little bit more confidence. Someone said this the other day, and I agree with it because I've said it before too. You really do need a star player at almost every position. You don't need star players, but you need a star player. If you got if you got 4 edge rushers, it's great if one of them is a superstar. if you got 3 defensive tackles. It's great if one of them is great. Doesn't have to necessarily be a superstar, but he's great. You got 3 linebackers. It's great when one of them is a superstar. And I do think one of your linebackers has to be a superstar. Cornerback. If one of them is a superstar and one of them is good. Safety. One of them is a hard hitter. One of them can cover. You need those dynamics because sometimes a good player plays better with a great player. If I'm lining up beside a great defensive tackle, well, it'll help me play better. Same thing on the offensive line. You play off of each other. If the center's playing good, the guards are playing good, the tackles are playing good. You need star players in certain positions. You're not going to be able to get star players in every position, but you need a star player in positions because they help everyone else. If you got one star player on your offensive line, and you think about in 2013, when Jason Garrett was here, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, it was incredible to have Ty Smith, Travis Frederick, and Zach Martin. I mean, you think about what kind of confidence that gives to a team. But Matt Eberflus does not have his leader on the defense. And so once Overshown gets on that defense, he will be the uncontested, unequivocal leader. Now, Jay Recruiter, you said Maurice will be a leader. I do think he will be to a degree, but he makes mistakes sometimes. He's one of those guys, like you said, you just unleash him. But he's not a guy that corrals men. Demarion Overshown is a guy that commands men, corrals men, and he leads men. Hey, Bass, he said, I concur. Some of the players may actually be dumb and lacking. Man, I'm telling you, Eberflus needs smart players. He really does. Because we were saying this same thing last year about simplifying a defense. I'm just saying. All right, let's hear the rest of Jerry, and then we're going to move on and hear Stephen Jones. I want to hear what he says about Trayvon Diggs.
Talking to those players, because that doesn't come from just because you're good with words.
Yeah, Jerry, you ain't got that player on defense right now.
You have done it. I've seen that Charles Haley and everybody in there heard him before a game, put a needle in him to deaden an area that most people couldn't walk so that he could go out and compete. As important as he was, the reason he's got 5 Super Bowl rings is because he has the heart of a lion for staying in there. Not talking about it, but he has it, and he had it. And everybody in there knew the price he was paying. And plus, he was that kind of leader. He'll be the first to tell you issues. Of course he had issues. Everybody's got them. But I really admire him. He's one of the smartest players I've ever been around. It's not players, one of the smartest people that I've ever been around. The problem is Charles has a heart bigger than his body. He has that big a heart. And so I can't say enough about Charles Haley, what he contributed. 5 Super Bowl rings. He was on teams that won 5 Super Bowls. And, boy, he was down there where it's rough, man.
Yeah, but Jerry, you don't have that player. That was the question.
I know we all appreciate that level that Dak also brings to the team. Do you guys have any players on defense that you feel like can do that?
Exactly, no.
Yes, we do.
Who is it?
Yes, we do. I'll tell you, 95 got that.
Clark ain't that type of leader.
Big time. That's a very good question.
No, Clark ain't that type of leader.
Where is that on defense? Now,
Olsen ain't that type of leader either.
Actually, that can go from each side of the ball. It's not that defined as to you're on your side and I'm on my side. Defense, offense, special teams. But we've got some guys that can do that there defensively, and I like very much, frankly, the Overshown, Michael. I'm gonna skip.
That's who it is right there.
Irvin said the greatest thing that happened to him was his rehab from his injury in his second year with the Cowboys. He said, I realized that I could lose the thing that I love so much, and that is football. And he said that injury helped me really understand how bad I wanted to get every moment out of it and everything out of it. So injury has several aspects to it that could compensate for having the injury. Overshown could be that kind of player.
He is that type of player.
Well, we appreciate the
No
time
doubt.
very much, good sir, and none of us like Washington, so let's go kick their ass, man.
Listen, I would like to say something. This is something that's happened to all of the Metroplex and really the Cowboys and everybody involved in this great area. But Brad Sheaves, the longtime SMU star that has meant so much to people involved at that great university. But Brad Sheaves has just become our new regional director for the Chamber of Commerce. Now, we've all won. It's not just good for the Cowboys. It is good for everybody in this area. And I don't know how you could find anybody more qualified.
All right. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, Jerry is letting the cat out of the bag. There is something brewing with the Cowboys. And I think we're going to see it here pretty soon. And it can't be. I'm just not going to believe that it's Eric Kendricks. I'm just not going to believe it's Kendricks, man. It can't be Kendricks. That ain't something that y'all do. Let me just tell you how bad our linebackers are. That we're looking forward to Eric. Is that his name? Last name Kendricks. The dude is 34. He on the streets. Kendricks is on the streets and ain't nobody called him. I mean, think about it. Dan Quinn, who loves Cowboys ex-players, he hasn't even called him. I'm not sure about that one. I am not sure about the Kendricks because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I would welcome Kendricks. I think he'd probably be better than what we have. But I couldn't see that being the thing that's holding us back as far as, you know, or them not saying we're going to get Kendricks. Or maybe it is. All right, let's listen to Stephen Jones real quick.
Joining us now here on.
Let me read it. Boy, let me read a couple of these comments, boy. Boy, y'all got me up in this thing. Rolling. Y'all have got me up in this chat rolling, man. I'm reading some of this stuff. Boy, let me see where I want to start. Boy, y'all got me laughing up in here. Let me see. Bass makes a great point right here. He says 80 to 95% zone screams to opposing teams. We aren't physical. Screams from the coaches. We think our defense is soft. I think it says a lot of things. I think it says that you don't, and especially when you're not playing any kind of press, I think it's showing that you're afraid that your corners are going to get ate alive, and they're still getting ate alive. Nisi said that C also stands for crap. Brady said Childress told Eberzone his scheme sucked and he was banished to the practice squad. Man. Hey, J-Tex is made. Exactly. Nobody is going to take a captain serious if the captain's level of play is lesser than everyone else's. Straight up facts. DC4L roster man, what up with you? No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, let's read this super chat real quick. My man, Ice Wild Cowboy, appreciate that super chat. Yes, sir. $20 super chat. Ice Wild, he said, Matt seems sullen most of the time. It's probably because he's cerebral. but it's the wrong type of energy in today's NFL. Exactly. He's probably a great teacher. He's probably a great teacher, Ice Wall. But you got to be a very attentive person to listen to him talk for an extended period of time. I mean, you really do. Man, you dealing with young dudes. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it's talking to me at 55 was different than talking to me at 25. At 25, man, you're going to really have to be talking to me about something. I don't care what it is you're talking to me about. I mean, I need some kind of certain type of energy from you in order to really be attentive. Now, at 55, you can be a little bit more boring. I want to know the information. So I really want to absorb it. And you think about players who are 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 versus a Dak Prescott who's 32, players who are maybe 32, 33. Players who are 32, 33, they're listening different than the young guys. He don't fit. That's why I think Ice Wall Cowboy, if I'm not mistaken, I'm wondering if he's one of the guys that sits up in the press box, which is probably better for him because I just can't see him really motivating a team being down there on the sideline. And maybe he is on the sideline. Maybe that's part of the problem. But I just don't see him as that guy. Tristan York said, miss the days of hard-hitting safeties like Brian Dawkins, Roy Williams, and Darren Woodson. The league is soft, G. He said, we need an elite safety. Oh, man, Woodson would be getting fined every week. Roy Williams, Dawkins, Ronnie Lott, safeties like that. What's the guy? Palomau, whatever his name is from Pittsburgh. Shoot, man, that pretty hair joker would be killing people in the NFL today. Even Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark was a hard hitter. Man, they ain't hitting like that no more. I mean, these safeties today, a lot of them actually look like cornerbacks. You can't tell the difference between the cornerbacks and the safeties. Back in the day, no, you could tell the difference. Shoot, you could tell the difference between them hitting safeties and those cover safeties. Darren Woodson, shoot, boy, you knew Woodson was a safety. He might could run like a cornerback, but nah, you knew he was a safety. Yeah, Bernard Fields said facts, especially nowadays, G, it's hard to follow someone like this. Yeah, man. I mean, that's one of the things you learn when you get older and more mature. You look back at yourself, and that's why you have to sometimes have a little, you have to have some grace and mercy on younger folk and have some patience because you have to think about what your mindset was when you were their age. Man, your mind just don't think the same at certain ages. And you know what? Football is the majority a young man's game. It don't mean that there's not a place for older players because there is. Look at Joe Flacco. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Look at Dak Prescott. Look at Matthew Stafford. I mean, just look at older players around the league, quarterback positions, even in every other position too. There's a place, especially for older players who can play really well. Yeah, Derrick Henry. There's a place for older players that can play very well, and they can really help young guys. But you'll even see a lot of those guys, even when they're older, they still, boy, let me tell you, they have a certain fire about them. Dak Prescott got a certain fire about him. Even at 32 years old, he's got a certain fire about him. But Matt's got a very calm demeanor, man. He's got to be very careful. I'm just saying. Hey, Jakira, they might have already got Kendricks. Yeah, see, Strife 1, Parsons wasn't a leader, but because he played well, guys, I think guys liked him because he played well. Yeah, J. Lou was a leader. Yeah, J. Lou was a leader. He was a dog out there, man. Yeah, J. Lou was a dog. I wish they would have kept J. Lou. He was a dog. Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence was a leader too. Problem is with DeMarcus Lawrence, he couldn't keep himself healthy. But yeah, he's a dog too. All right. Let's check out Stephen Jones. He's nowhere near as long as Jerry Jones was. Let's check out Stephen Jones. I didn't get a chance to listen to it. I want to hear kind of what his hesitation was. I've seen some people talking about the hesitation when he started talking about Trayvon Diggs, so I want to see what he said.
On the Fan, Stephen Jones here talking Cowboys Week 7, hosting the Commanders 3:25 on Sunday. And a good afternoon, sir. How the heck are you?
Doing good. Good afternoon to you guys.
Hey, is everything going to be okay with Trayvon Diggs? I was concerned for him.
Well, we certainly think so, but he's not going to be able to play this weekend.
Everybody else getting healthy, though?
I think so. We had a good week of practice. Guys stepping up, getting better. In particular, obviously, with CD and Turf and Booker, all really had a good week of practice and going to be able to get out there and play for us. And even some of the guys who aren't going to be ready this week are making big progress and good.
This is a big deal. Booker, Lamb, Turpin back on the field. Very big deal. That's a very big deal for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to give the Washington Commanders fits. I mean, everybody's been giving us fits, so it's nothing to say that somebody's going to give us fits, but they are going to give the Washington Commanders fits with those players back on the field. So I'm excited for the Cowboys that they got Kevontae Turpin, and especially the man, CeeDee Lamb, is back on the field. Glad to see him back on the field, so that's a very big deal.
Start the clock and practice starting next week, guys like BB and Overshown.
Well, that's certainly exciting. I mean, how much better can this offense get? And statistically, it's been third best since Lamb went out.
Well, hats off to Coach Schottenheimer and Clayton and the whole crew. Shimko, our quarterback coach, they're just doing a great job. And then, obviously, I think our quarterback's playing as well as anybody in the league. Certainly, guys stepped up when we lost guys. George Pickens, obviously, playing, tops. Certainly, Flournoy stepped up with the receiving group. And then, of course, Ferguson's been steady all year. And then as a group, the offensive line group is, next man up. And, it's going to be great. We'll have 4 of our 5 starters out there ready to roll now and hopefully get our starting center back sooner than later.
Any limitations for CD on Sunday, or is he full go?
We don't see any limitations. I think he's ready to go. And, the competitor he is. He's shaking off the rust a little bit, but I saw him out here after practice with jugs, and he's ready to go. He loves to compete, and he's ready to get out there.
Stephen, we hear the word execution a lot about on defense and stuff. When you sit down and watch the tape and you see your defensive coordinator send a safety down in the hole and it should be a negative play or a tackle for loss and you miss a tackle, it's a 9-yard run, how much of that has been really what this defense has happened to this defense this year?
Well, I'd use 2 things. I'd use execution and then, of course, I'd also use consistency. I think we've been inconsistent. I think, at times we've flashed and shown some things that we can do, whether it's against the run or the pass. And then at times we've been inconsistent and not very good. And I think we just have to continue to go out there and work hard every week, every practice, and get better. And I think we feel like we had a good week of practice this week. I know Coach Schottenheimer, Jerry and I just met with the staff, and they were real pleased with the week of practice. And now we got to go out there and we got to consistently execute.
Stephen, you talked about you just met with the staff, and this has got to be a difficult situation for you guys at wide receiver. Are you looking to get all those guys inactive and maybe go short somewhere else, or how are you going to navigate your wide receiver room this week?
Well, it's a good group, and one of the things Coach Schottenheimer said early is we you do want guys fresh when you need to win the game in the fourth quarter, which is what the NFL is all about most of the time. And so I think one of the important things will be to, use guys like Flournoy and Tolbert, throughout the game so that we can have guys like CD and Pickens and Turk fresh when that fourth quarter hits. And obviously we've gotten confidence that those guys can go out and do the job as well. And I think Flournoy has been outstanding. And then, of course, we'll have a big physical receiver coming back, probably not this week, but probably next in Mingo. So real pleased with that receiver room. And I think Coach Schottenheimer, Jr., those guys have a great plan as to, what the future is going to look like with that group.
With Diggs being out, is that just more Kyer Elam probably in the back end?
Well, we got several of them. We got Traquez and
that's what I was thinking.
Caitlin Carson's coming up, so we'll have a group out there that we had a really good week of practice. We're really confident that they understand, what to do and how they're going to execute out there, and they'll get the job done.
Stephen, you mentioned how well Dak's playing, and I think we all agree he's playing some of the best football of his career. When you see him performing at the level he is, does that add any extra emphasis to try and maybe improve the roster in some way or another?
Yeah, I would say this. We're always looking to improve the roster. If we can find the right situation where it makes us better, then we're going to be looking at it. And, we got our process as to how we work the phones and understand what's available out there. And certainly if we feel like there's a move that would make a difference for us and make us better, then we'll certainly be looking at it because we do. I agree with you. I mean, this offense is obviously, playing at the highest level. They're ranked number one in the league in a lot of categories. And certainly with Dak and his leadership and the group that's around him, they've shown that, they can move the ball against good defenses as well. So we'll certainly continue to look at that and see if there's other things that can help us as a team.
Is there any truth to a report that came out earlier this week about possibly looking at hunting some running backs to add to the roster?
No, we feel good about the running back situation. I think Blues, he's cutting his teeth and coming along, but he brings something that's very unique. And then we like the other group, behind them as well.
I'm glad to hear Steven say this. It sounds like that they have a plan for Jaden Blue. They have a plan for Jaden Blue. And I do think that there is some reluctance on the part of Brian Schottenheimer to run Jaden Blue because I think he wants that power run game that he's accustomed to in places that he's been. But I also don't want I don't want Brian Schottenheimer. Bro, you got to practice what you preach. If you're going to preach being multiple, well, what better way to be multiple than to prove that you can take a back like Jaden Blue and you can also skirt him on the outsides? Because I'm just telling us right now, every team is going to play the Cowboys similar. They're going to play them similar to how the Carolina Panthers played the Cowboys. They're going to try to line up over the center. And they're going to try their best to stop the Cowboys from running between the tackles. And they're going to try to crash that line on any of the pulls the Cowboys are doing, some of the things that they're doing with the pulls and the slants. They're going to try to crash that so the Cowboys can't accomplish that. So if you know that's how they're going to play you, then you better get ready for that's how they're going to play you. You can't beat your head against the wall if they're going to show you, or if they're going to fully commit to the middle of the field, then you got to get on them edges. And then once you get them on them edges, then you can go back to the middle. And then you can go boom, you can go back and forth. But you can't just say, I want to run a power run game. This ain't the 90s Cowboys. We don't have that type of offensive line. We can't even fool ourselves with that. We don't have that kind of offensive line. So I'm glad to hear Steven say that. I think that they recognize, because I believe Jaden Blue was a front office selection. Will McClay, front office selection. Steven and Jerry, front office selection. That whole group, they wanted Jaden Blue. And so I'm sure they're telling Shotty, and they should be telling him, bro, we got this guy for a reason. You don't get to pick every player that you want. We got this player for a reason. We want you to use him.
Obviously, Hunter Steady as a fullback slash short down runner. And then, we've always been a fan of Malik Davis. And as we all know, we have Maffa, our draft pick, who, we really like as well, that's on IR and eligible to return.
Our team's calling about your backup offensive lineman that had performed so well.
Well, we won't get into the details of exactly who's calling on what, but certainly I will say this, those 4 guys stepped up in a big way. Hats off to them, and hats off to the coaching staff as well as getting them prepared as a group.
With McLaurin and Samuel possibly out, how much more of an opportunity is this to pick up a big divisional win?
Well, anytime you're playing a divisional team, it's big. I mean, you got to win, go anywhere in this league, you got to win your division.
Is this to pick up a big division?
Getting them prepared as a group.
With McLaurin and Samuel possibly out, how much more of an opportunity is this to pick up a big divisional win?
Well, anytime you're playing a divisional team, it's big. I mean, you got to win, go anywhere in this league, you got to win your division, and it all starts with beating your divisional opponents. Obviously, we've got a relationship there with Dan, but we need to go out there and get a win, and it'd mean a lot here, obviously, at AT&T Stadium, where we have the greatest fans, to go out there and play really well and win a game would be big for this football team right now.
How impressed have you been with Schottenheimer, just the details of trying to navigate the sun situation at AT&T Stadium?
That takes the scientists to figure that out. No. In all seriousness, you need a sundial during the day or whatever you do. But no,
Nisi, I wish they could get another Sean Lee.
With our football ops guys, and
what up, Chanel?
Got a great feel for how that works, and he's all set for it. We actually talked about it, and it can be a home field advantage if we stay on top of it. And I can tell you, Coach Schottenheimer's on top of it.
What up, Roger?
Steven, until things kind of turn around a little bit for your defense, how difficult is it to put this much pressure on your offense?
Appreciate you,
to
Bass.
maybe not even punt during a game?
No, I think that's their goal. If you would ask Dak and Coach Schottenheimer, is every time they get possession of the ball is to move the ball and get points. And so that's just line number one. When you're lining up before each game is to move the ball and score. So I think Dak even said it in the press conference. It doesn't add pressure because that's what we expect.
Sure.
So no other details.
Oh, Chanel, boy, you hit this. Boy. Chanel said the Titans. He said the Titans have Cedric Gray and Simmons ready for the take. And he said, right. He said, I swear to you, Chad, there are linebackers and quarterbacks in the CFL that are better than our linebackers. Oh, boy. Woo. Boy. Yeah, it looks like it looks like Tennessee Titans about to start selling everything. I mean, it sounds like that Tony Pollard might be on the table for somebody if they want him. Tony Pollard might be on the table. I'm not sure the Cowboys would bring Tony Pollard back with some of the comments that he made. I don't think the Cowboys would bring Tony Pollard back, but man, I think they ready to get everybody out of there. Bam Bam said Kendrick is a true vet, but he might even be slower than Sanborn. He played really good though in the defense last year, but it's Zimmer's defense, so I don't know. But I just can't see him being the guy that they're talking about. I just can't see him being the guy that they're talking about, like this dude here going, you know, somebody they're trying to hold back on getting. I don't think it's Kendrick. I don't. Yeah, Andrew said ask T.O. about Roy Williams. He probably still feels that tackle from standing on the star. And Nisi, they had to change the rules because of doggone Roy Williams with that horse collar thing. Man, that dude was wrecking people. But Roy Williams was a hitter. If I'm not mistaken, he's the one that took Emmitt Smith out. He got a square hit on Emmitt when Emmitt was playing with Arizona, and I think he cracked his collarbone.
On how Diggs got hurt, huh?
Not at this point. We'll look into it, make sure everything's good, and we'll go from there.
They just asked him about Trayvon Diggs. Man, I'm telling y'all right now, there is something weird going on with this. There's something weird going on with this thing with Trayvon Diggs. This thing with Trayvon Diggs, to me, it sounds almost like when Rico Dowdle last year in the San Francisco game, Rico Dowdle in the San Francisco game comes down with the flu or whatever he came down with, only for us to find out later on that it actually wasn't the fact that he was sick, but it was the fact that there was a little bit of a ruckus or confusion about the fact of Ezekiel Elliott starting over him. This is sounding strange to me because I'm just wondering if this is an issue of Matt Eberflus and Trayvon Diggs butting heads. Could be totally wrong. It may be something absolutely legitimate. So, but a lot of people are speculating, saying they don't think something's right with this. Everybody's saying there is something not right with this. But whatever the case may be, I'm gonna keep it a bean on this on Trayvon Diggs. I just don't see it as a loss. You know what? See, you know what, Bass? I was wondering if Guyton was clear from the concussion. I got the injury report and I don't see Guyton on it, so Guyton may not be playing again. I really don't know if it's a loss. I don't know. Brandy said Elam is playing worse than Diggs. I don't know if you can play any worse than either one of them, or I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. We're going to see if it's a loss, but I can tell you this. It may be a wash if it was going to be a loss. It may be a wash simply because Terry McLaurin is not going to play. That is a big deal for the Cowboys that Terry McLaurin is not going to play. You want to talk about helped out the Cowboys? That's a big deal. Brady got me rolling up in here. Brady said Elam is Booth Jr. He said he is Booth Jr. Boy, that boy, as Angie called him, Booth, B-O-O-F. Man, he was Booth and Poof. Because I'm telling you, when it was time to throw the ball to his side, he was Poof. He was nowhere to be found. He was nowhere to be found. Man, Colito Cash, boy, you sound like on Friday. How you get fired on your day off? How you get hurt on your day off? But I don't know. I'm not going to hate it on Diggs as far as what happened to him. I can tell you this. I just don't know how much of a loss it is. I guess we're going to see. John Jones, Sean Taylor, I believe, was a generational player. I believe Sean Taylor was a generational player, man. Sad what happened to him. All right, man. Let's listen to a little bit of Brian Schottenheimer. It's not a long one either, so him and Steven nowhere close to what Jerry Jones was. But Brian Schottenheimer, haven't heard this either. So let's check out what Brian Schottenheimer has to say.
A little housekeeping information for you guys. Trayvon Diggs came in this morning with some concussion symptoms after having an accident at his home. He's been checked out by our doctors and is in the protocol and will miss the game.
So the accident was last night?
Yeah, we're gathering information. I just got that information walking over from our doctors and was in meetings all morning, but it happened last night.
Sorry, Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. I guess you were looking for solutions for the defense, and now here's another issue. How do you kind of process all these types of things, especially with the game 48 hours away?
Yeah.
I don't think
part
it's
of the
an
business.
issue.
It's unfortunate. I obviously want what's best for Trayvon, and I certainly am wishing him well. But, again, next man up. You know, we've got guys that we're excited about getting a chance to evaluate. You know,
Goody
Trike
Cush in the
Bridges
building. What
is
up?
Showing some really good things. Kalen Carson, you know, we've talked about his ability to come back, and we'll see how practice goes today. But, again, this is the NFL. And if you're unsure of what's going to happen, just wait, because something's going to happen, and you deal with it, you know, and you don't lose sleep over it. But like I said, the biggest thing is just the concern for Trayvon that he's okay, but which seems like he is.
One last thing on Trayvon. Did he have to go to the hospital or anything?
Again, I don't know. Our doctors checked him out. Our trainers checked him out, and he is in the protocol and will miss the game.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. How does this? You spent a lot of time this week making changes on defense. How does this affect the changes that you possibly implemented?
It doesn't change. We adjust always, you know, Clarence, when you get into game day anyways. But no, it doesn't change. It's a good plan. I like the plan. We have to go out and execute the plan. And, you know, like I said, it's going to come down to us going out and playing well against a really good, almost said their old name, the Commanders offense. And I worked there, so I really can, but met my wife there. But no, it doesn't change what we're going to do.
We joke a lot about the sun and the curtains, and how much time do you put in preparing for that?
You know, it's probably a 10 to 15-minute conversation. You know, the plan doesn't really change. The time of the game and the you know, what date it is. Is it October versus November, things like that. But you know, we have a pretty specific plan, and we actually talk about that later today, and we'll have a great plan. And like I said, it affects both teams.
Is it as simple as we know the sun is, don't throw to that side of the field, or don't, you know, do you decide before the game, I'm going to choose this end, but at that end, so toward the end of the half or fourth quarter, I'm not.
It's all the above. Yeah, it's all the above. Really, you make the decision before the game about how you want to. Hey, do you want to receive because you get choices? Do you want to just, you know, defer? There's different things that come into play when you're doing that, and then at the end of the day, you're mindful of it. But like I always say, you can't really tell where the ball's going to go. Sometimes you call a play and you're like, "Damn, the ball went there," and hopefully we get a chance to catch it.
Todd Archer of the ESPN. Back on Trayvon, did he fall? Did he trip?
I don't have any more information than you guys do. I get why you would ask the question, but again, the biggest thing I can update you on is that, again, he came in with symptoms. He has symptoms and is now in the protocol and will miss Sunday's game.
Is it too early in the season to start thinking about where things are in the division?
Yeah, we don't get caught up in that. I mean, we're 6 games in and another division opponent, but the way I like to say it, as you guys know, just another championship opportunity. This is a damn good football team that was in the NFC Championship game last year. They've added some really talented pieces, really on both sides, and whether it's Von Miller, Tunsil, they've added pieces. So, again, you go out there and you play this game for 60 minutes and hope you give yourself a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter. And like I said, our big thing is we got to find ways to finish off and close these games with wins.
John Machota with The Athletic, Dak said yesterday that on that time when you're on the headset with him between plays, that he's more of a guy that just wants the play call and things like that. How would you describe your style with Dak in doing that, and then maybe with, let's say, like a younger quarterback?
Yeah, I don't have to give Dak as much as you would a young quarterback. But I hope he likes my banter because I sing to him sometimes. I talk shit about myself. Oops, sorry. But he's great. You know, sometimes he's like, yeah, I'm good. Sometimes he's like, yeah, I got you. You know, if you get the hand, like he's like, yeah, I got it. I'm good. You know, but again, sometimes it's nerves too. Like you just like, okay, yeah. You keep talking. You're like, hey, give me the. Oh, and I think about. He's like, hey, I got you. And it's like that's what's cool about having a veteran.
So then you would be like giving reminders about things.
Sure. Yeah, like, hey, we got points. Hey, yeah, give me something positive back on to get back on track. There's simple reminders. What you're concerned about doing that with a young quarterback is they're just focused on calling the play. Hey, give me double right. Give me 3-jet, ace, whatever. And they're like, okay, what do you say? With a guy like Dak, he's like, yeah, the minute you say, hey, let's go shop to whatever, he's got the play. And so then you can give him the reminders, which is a bonus.
Tommy Arch, DallasCowboys.com. Defensively with Kyer, kind of struggled to start the year, but the last couple of weeks when he has played, where have you seen him grow? And now, if he's going to step into a bigger role this game, how much confidence do you all have in him going forward?
Yeah, a lot of confidence. Again, Kyer's biggest thing is, again, trusting what he sees. There's times in man-to-man and in zone where he'll play a little bit soft. I think as a secondary unit, Tommy, we need to all get better at our sticks awareness. What do I mean by that? Like 3rd and 6, okay? You can't be 10 yards off. I mean, we're looking for that offensively. Like, oh, okay, 3rd and 6, 10 yards off. And it's not as easy as, where they just always look over, but like we have rules built in. Starting point for us in off coverage is somewhere from 6 to 7 yards off. That's the rule. But it does get adjusted based on that. But with Kyer, he's got incredible change of direction, and there's times where he gets a little bit deep, and he's got to be willing to step up and challenge those guys a little bit more in some of those tighter situations. But all the confidence in the world in the guy. The guy's an incredible talent. That's why he was a high draft pick, and why we made the move to go get him.
And then this is a defense that plays a lot of nickel. You had to go up against it when Dan was here. What does Sainer still bring in from the slot position, and how kind of difficult does that make it when you've got him and 4 other corners out there?
Yeah, he's a stud. He's a really good football player. You can see why he went so high. I know we had a lot of love for him as well. I think he's kind of found his home. DQ and Joe were both around a guy, here for a long, long time, and Jay Lou that showed the impact that the nickel can have in today's modern day NFL football. But great coverage skills, very good run defender. He plays the game the right way. Very, very talented. Like I said, I say it every week, this is a very, very talented football team. And you got, Lattimore, and you got the rookie Amos who's playing good. You got Mike playing inside of the nickel. You've added Von Miller, and they're very, very talented, and that's why they're comfortable playing a lot of man-to-man.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Brian, you said with CD, obviously, if he's out there breathing, he can play. What are your thoughts?
I did check on that, and he is breathing, so I think we're good.
That's awesome. With Tyler Booker, what do you need to see from him in order for him to play this weekend?
The same stuff we've seen from the last couple of days. I would say I love the way he's moving around. Again, this is a guy that's tackled that rehab, and I think he's a week ahead of schedule, which is great. We've asked him to do some different things this week, both in individual and in team where, can you anchor, can you sustain, can you pull, can you move, can you do those things? And so far it's been check, check, check. And today's the final dress rehearsal. But I would say based on his last 2 days, I don't see a reason for him not to play in this game and to play at a high level.
How impactful can his return be for you guys after a week in which the run game, you said you wanted to focus on improving?
Yeah, again, he's a big, powerful guy, very talented player. That's one of his strong suits, big physical front. A lot of love for Deron Payne, as a football player, and really just think he's a hell of a player inside. But, Book's intensity and leadership is something that we kind of thrive off of. So anytime you get good players back, it definitely helps.
McLaurin has been ruled out by Washington. How does that impact the game for you guys?
Again, it's anytime you're missing a elite player like that, it definitely helps. Hate to see it because he's such a great player, and I know he's been missing a couple weeks. But again, there'll be minor adjustments. There's certainly things that you're aware of, certain players like, okay, where's 17 at? And you have extra eyes on him and things like that. But he is a terrific football player that just that speed, and Flus referred to it as he has wide tires, the ability to drop and stop really quick. So he's got both, which is what makes him so dangerous. But they've got other really good players that we'll have to cover.
Anybody else?
Yeah, easy day. See you guys.
Yep, that was like I said, that's pretty quick today. All right, and that's me coming up next. I appreciate it. All right. Yeah, the Cowboys This is going to be a very good game for the Cowboys, I believe. It's going to be a very good game for the Cowboys. I just got a feeling the Cowboys defense may look a little bit better. I got a feeling the defense may look better. We're going to see. But I think the defense for the Cowboys may look better than we've seen it look in a while. And so they're going to have to, though, to be able to. I don't think the Cowboys have to totally stop the Washington Commanders. Number one, I don't think it's possible for the Cowboys to totally stop anybody at this point in time. But if the Cowboys can just get about maybe 3 to 4 stops on the Commanders, maybe turn them over one time, I think they'll win this game going away. And then we're gonna look at that here in just a moment. All right, let's check on a couple of these other things, see how long these are, because we may not be able to get to them tonight. I got a certain time I want to get out of here, and I want to spend some time on this game breakdown preview. Let me see, who do we want to do? Any, mini, mighty, mo. Okay, so what we're gonna do, because we're gonna go live tomorrow anyway. So let me put a couple of things in here. Let me put my final score down on my score sheet. And then we're going to get into this Cowboys breakdown. Yeah, we're going to get into this Cowboys breakdown. And I'm going to tell you what I think the Cowboys are going to do, or what they're going to have to do to beat the doggone Washington Commanders. What will the Cowboys have to do to beat the Commanders? Y'all hold on a second. Got a couple more things change up. All right. So let's get into the preview, and we're going to expound on this even more tomorrow. All right, let's get this thing ready to go. Y'all ready? Let's get this thing going. Game preview. We'll save the Brian Brothers breakdown and the guy from Washington's breakdown. We'll save that for tomorrow. Let's get our breakdown, and I'll be in the chat back and forth as I'm talking about what do the Cowboys have to do to beat the Washington Commanders. Yeah, let's go. So, these are the storylines that I have put together this week. Storylines. Dan Quinn versus Brian Schottenheimer. Dan Quinn knows Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer knows Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn versus Brian Schottenheimer. This is going to be very interesting. All right, y'all hold on a second. Dan Quinn versus Brian Schottenheimer. It is going to be a great battle. I think the advantage goes to probably goes to Brian Schottenheimer. I think the advantage goes to Brian Schottenheimer because when Dan Quinn was here, he didn't really see Brian Schottenheimer calling plays per se, but Dan Quinn he didn't see Brian Schottenheimer calling plays, but Brian Schottenheimer was definitely able to observe him calling plays. So, when it comes to this, I'm giving the advantage to Brian Schottenheimer on this, but I do think this is going to be a heck of a battle. The Matt Eberflus saga continues. Trayvon Diggs is not playing. I don't want to speculate too much on this Trayvon Diggs thing, but the reason why I say the saga continues is this. What if Matt Eberflus' defense looks better without Trayvon Diggs? What if the defense looks better without Trayvon Diggs? Boy, I'm telling y'all, if this defense looks better without Trayvon Diggs, it is going to hit the fan. It's going to hit the fan. Another big storyline for this game. CeeDee Lamb is back. CeeDee Lamb is back on the field, and that's going to be a big deal. But Nisi said something earlier that I already had in my notes. What will Lamb and Pickens look like now? Because Dak kind of favored CeeDee Lamb, and understandably so. But I think Pickens has earned that Brian Schottenheimer needs to make it his business. He needs to make it his business to make sure Pickens stays involved in these games and don't just be a decoy. And don't just be a decoy for CeeDee Lamb. So, what will Lamb and Pickens look like? I think it's a big storyline. Will the Cowboys defense bounce back? They had a good game against the Jets, trash against the Panthers. Will they bounce back? And will they have a good game against the Washington Commanders? I'm telling y'all, man, if you just really look at the Washington Commanders, they're really just some guys who bring their lunch pail and the thermos to work every day. I don't really look at their offense and say high-powered superstar offense. They got Terry McLaurin. They can run the ball. They got Deebo Samuel, but I think the Cowboys should be able to put up points on them. Issue is I think they're going to put up points on the Cowboys. And I'm just going to keep this storyline pretty much until something changes. Dak continues his MVP bid. Injury report. Tyler Booker is back. CeeDee Lamb is back. I'm not sure about Tyler Guyton. I didn't even see him on the injury report. Malik Hooker, we know, injury reserve. Kevontae Turpin back. Tyler Smith playing. All good news. And of course, now the big news is we know that Trayvon Diggs is out. Yeah, Trayvon Diggs is out. But also for the Washington Commanders, Terry McLaurin out. Huge deal for the Washington Commanders. Huge deal for the Washington Commanders, y'all. Huge deal. Cowboys have caught a break on this. They have really caught a break with Terry McLaurin being out. So let's kind of look at the stats versus the Washington Commanders. The Cowboys are just better. They are just better offensively. Yards per play, 6 yards. They're kind of close there. Points per play, they're kind of close there. Still the edge of the Cowboys. The rush play percentage advantage goes to the Washington Redskins. They run the ball a lot. Also, Diggy Zua and Kenny Clark are going to be tested along with the Cowboys linebackers. Brian Schottenheimer is right around 37%. Pass play percentage by the Cowboys, it's a no-brainer, 62.60%. And Dak Prescott is on a historical completion rate of 71.37%. It's incredible. Third down conversion percentage, Cowboys improved that a little bit, but they're better than the Commanders. Issue is the Cowboys have got to get the Commanders in third down. Red zone advantage goes to the Commanders, and that's understandable because they run the ball more. Plus, Jaden Daniels, and I think he is going to be a problem for the Cowboys. They're going to have to make sure that they try to put the kibosh on him running. All right, let me go to the chat somewhat. Mose Logan said, I want Diggs gone. I think the Cowboys do too. At least the front office does. I think the front office want him gone. Chanel said, G, please remember we got Turpin from the CFL. I thought he came from, man, Turpin been everywhere, actually. I mean, Turpin was in the Arena League, I think, too. Yeah, that boy Turpin is nasty, though. Brandy said, I wouldn't mind Pollard. You remember what Pollard said, Brandy? He was talking about how being with the Cowboys is a circus and talking about he was at peace with the Tennessee Titans while getting spanked over there. Never understood that. Basically said he didn't like some of the stuff that went on at the Cowboys facility, so probably won't bring him back. Probably won't bring him back, but we'll see. The Tennessee Titans may be on a whole rebuild. Robert Simmons, what up with you? He said, gee, yes, we do have to have that old line. Blue do not fit the scheme. We need another running back behind Williams. Robert Simmons, we're not asking him to fit the scheme. That's not the issue. We're not asking him to fit the scheme. We're asking Brian Schottenheimer to do exactly what I'm sure he was told that he was supposed to do when they bought in Jaden Blue. When you go and scout a player, you don't try to fit him into, you're not trying to fit him into the Javonte Williams mode. Looking at what the Carolina Panthers did last week, if we're not seeing this, we're not seeing it right. Javonte Williams is not quick or fast enough to get to the edges. That's not his game. If they're going to take away the middle of running the ball, the middle part of the line, then what are you going to do? That's where Jaden Blue fits in. Why do we think CeeDee Lamb got hurt? Because we're trying to run him like a running back, running him on jet sweeps. Why do we run CeeDee Lamb on jet sweeps? Because Javonte Williams can't get to the edges. Cavonte Turpin is too small to consistently try to run him and get him on the edges. Jaden Blue. I'm not buying it. If Brian said he's going to be multiple, be multiple. Running up the middle and between the tackles ain't multiple. Beating your head against a brick wall when a team like the Carolina Panthers tell you we're not letting you run between the tackles and you keep trying to do it and you get less than 30 yards? No. I don't want to hear about your system. You got another running back that can help you to be versatile to get to the edges. If we're going to just say we're just going to run up the middle, then that really defeats what you say you're going to be. Multiple is multiple, period. Multiple is multiple. Stephen Jones, and again, I don't care what Brian Schottenheimer plan is on this. Brian Schottenheimer said it out of his own mouth. We wouldn't have got Phil Maffa and Jaden Blue if we didn't believe they could start. And there is no way that Brian Schottenheimer wanted to bring in Jaden Blue and run in between the tackles. Jaden Blue can play wide receiver. He can be in your run game. He can be your screen game. To say that Jaden Blue don't fit is a cop-out. It's a cop-out. I don't need Jaden Blue running between the tackles. Let him do what he do. Get him in space. Get him in wheel routes. Line him up in the slot. Get him in the screen game. I'm not buying it, Robert Simmons. I'm not buying it. I know we listen to other people talk about this. Listen to who you want to. But I'm going by what Brian Schottenheimer said. The man said he was going to be multiple. If you're going to be multiple, or stop saying it. Stop saying it. Multiple isn't running one particular type of way. When the Cowboys had Zeke and Tony Pollard, they ran them differently. Is Jaden Blue Tony Pollard? No. But Jaden Blue can do some of the things that Tony Pollard could do. Jaden Blue can do those things. He can run on the edges. He can be in your passing game. He can be in your screen game. I'm not buying the Jaden Blue stuff. I'm not buying it. You drafted him for a reason. Exhaust. Don't tell me this man is not fitting something and you only give him 7 touches of the ball. I'm not listening to that. I'm not listening to that. No. I'm not listening to it. Get this man in there. This is the same stuff they said about Deuce Vaughn. It's the same stuff they were doing even with Rico Dowdle. When Zeke was here, they were doing the same nonsense with Rico Dowdle. No. Get this dude in the game. This dude didn't forget how to run no doggone football. If Brian Schottenheimer will put some confidence in the dude and intently run the ball with him the way that he's supposed to, Jaden Blue will be fine. Chanel, he said Bradley Chubb, 73 tackles, 45 solo tackles, and 28 assisted tackles. He also had 11 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, and 2 passes defended. His 6 forced fumbles were career high and he led the league. Yeah, Bradley Chubb is who y'all been talking about. Jareka said Trayvon missed his partner. She talking about she's obviously talking about his man Michael Parsons. Man, Chanel, I hear you. It's strange. It's strange. That's all I'm telling you. I'm gonna leave it right there, but it's some strange stuff, my brother. Strange stuff. Winfrey is still there. He just got to get off of injured reserve, I think. He's got to get off injured reserve. All right. Let me continue on here. Nisi. Now, you know doggone well Shotty know. Nisi, you know Shotty know. They know. Yeah, they know. They know what Shotty low. Shotty. They know. They know. All right, let's get to some more of this because I'm going to bring up again Jaden Blue. I'm going to bring up this thing about Jaden Blue again. Let's talk about the defense real quick. But when we look at the offensive position comparison, I'm giving the Cowboys the edge in this particular situation. The quarterback is better. The running backs, I think the Cowboys running back situation is better. The wide receiver situation is way better. Commanders' O-line might be better. Tight ends for the Cowboys are better. I think the coaching for the Commanders is better. Overall, the Cowboys is better offensively. And as a matter of fact, I think I got this backwards. The coaching is actually better for the Cowboys. I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer the edge on the coaching. Yeah, I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer the edge on this. Brian Schottenheimer has done a fantastic job. Only thing I got on Brian Schottenheimer is his non-use of Jaden Blue. And I think the Joneses are gonna continue to pressure him on this same situation. Defensive comparison. It's no secret everybody's defense is better than ours. I'm not telling us anything we don't know. Cowboys defense is terrible. The defense, every edge you can name of, every advantage goes to the Washington Commanders. We're giving up 6.2 yards per play. We're giving up 84% completion percentage, 53.16 third down conversion percentage, 62.50% in the red zone. We are awful. And the crazy part is the third down conversion percentage is not even as bad as it could be. We can't even get some of these teams to third down. It's that bad. Defensive comparison, it is no surprise. It's all Commanders. It's all Commanders. Maybe. Let me go right here. Maybe. I might give the Cowboys the defensive line. I'm going to give Cowboys the benefit of the doubt defensive line wise. Maybe. But y'all can definitely rebut that if you want to. But either way it goes, overall, coach, overall defense, better than the Cowboys. Just not a lot they can do. So, let's look at the offensive keys to the game for the Cowboys to win. Offensive keys. I still say the Cowboys need to run the ball 35 times. Start off fast, offensively and defensively. The Cowboys need to find a way to score a touchdown on their first drive and get a 3-and-out on their defensive first drive, and then come back and get another touchdown on their second drive. The Cowboys keep George Pickens involved. I would actually make George Pickens the primary receiver. I would work CD Lamb in slowly. I really would. Long drives, time of possession. Best way to help your defense is keep them off the field. Defenses benefits. They benefit from shorter drives. Offenses benefit from longer drives. Again, Cowboys have done a great job as far as Dak Prescott goes, especially no turnovers. Again, protect Dak Prescott. They need to make sure they know where Bobby Wagner is. And I forgot the other guy they got on the team. Didn't even know he was on the team. But they got to make sure they are knowing what those players are at all times. Again, a little bit of an extended offensive keys. Cowboys run the ball. The Cowboys need to continue, as Stephen Jones said. Man, I don't care. Brian Schottenheimer don't get to have all the players that he wants. There are certain players that you get that you know got potential. It's his job to use them. They drafted Jaden Blue for him to use him. Prove to this team and to this fan base, and don't sabotage him. Prove that he isn't good by giving him legitimate plays. Run Blue 10 to 15 times. All this 3 and 4 runs a game crap. I don't understand how anybody could look at Jaden Blue on 3 carries and 4 carries and say he washed or he's not good. Forget that. I'm not even listening to it. Run Javonte Williams 20 to 25 times. Hunter Lipke, keep him at the fullback position and acclimate him into the run game and the passing game more. Minimal penalties, no turnovers. Talked about that. Get Jaden Blue in the screen game and on the edges. Get this dude involved. Get him in space. Let him use his speed. Win time of possession. Score touchdowns. We don't need no Brandon Aubrey field goals. We kicked 2 Brandon Aubrey field goals last week, 27-27. If we could have made those touchdowns, we win the game. We need some explosive plays from Turpin also. Get him in. Get Turpin in space. Get Blue in the passing game. Let's get George Pickens in some deep routes. We're gonna go more extensive in this even tomorrow. Let's look at Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus, I don't know how he's gonna do it. But Matt Eberflus has got to get the Cowboys some 3 and outs. We already know he ain't gonna be able to do them, but he's got to get some 3 and outs. Got to get some 3 and outs, man. And they got to get at least 3 or 4 of these, because I already know they're not going to be able to get a bunch of them. They got to get 3 or 4 3 and outs. Matt Eberflus has got to stop being stubborn. If there is a week you were ever going to spy a quarterback, if y'all have noticed it, Jaden Daniels is dangerous. If you don't spy Jaden Daniels, he is probably, of all the quarterbacks the Cowboys have faced, he's the most dangerous with his legs so far. Jaden Daniels is their offense. If you can stop Jaden Daniels from running, you're pretty much, I'm telling you, you stop him from running, you're going to beat the Commanders. They can't beat you head up without this dude being a big part of the run game. If I'm not mistaken, he's accounted for about 200 plus yards of their run game. If you can stop this dude from running, you got this. Spy Jaden Daniels. Gap integrity, as Jerry Jones explained to us. Stop the runs. It's going to be tough. They run the ball a lot. Move that blitzing up. Last week, I think he blitzed only 7 times. Can we get it up to about 12? Can we get it up to 12 to 15? And he has got to minimize. I said no big plays. Maybe I need to say minimize big plays. Terry McLaurin is going to help the Cowboys help the Cowboys to survive without getting the big plays on. This was last week. I talked about some of these players who were taking other players' place. I would still like to see Marquise Bell. Of course, we're going to get a lot of Kyer Elam this week. We're going to get a lot of Kyer Elam. They'll probably be the corners. But we got to make sure. I would play some man-to-man, especially with Trevon Diggs being out. I think we're going to see the guy Troy Quiz. I think we might see some of him. Again, I didn't change this. It's the running back for the Commanders. That's the running back we have to stop. Okay, hold on a second. Make sure we get that changed over. We're going to be looking at this again tomorrow. Yeah, his name is what? Jacory. Let's make sure we change that. Washington runs the ball a lot. They run the ball a lot, man. But I think in particular, the guy who I really seen them run is this Jacory Krosky. Jacory Krosky Merritt. You got to stop this kid. Again, move that blitz rate up. More cover, more cover 1 and man, less 2 and 4. Cowboys play physical. Again, I'm some of this stuff, I don't know how he's going to accomplish it, but he's got to get him to play physical, play aggressive. And again, let's change that. Has got to spy Jaden Daniels. He's got to spy Jaden Daniels, and they got to turn Daniels over. They got to do similar to what the Chicago Bears did. They have got to win the turnover battle. They got to turn him over. They got to find ways, whether it be a strip sack fumble or whether it be an interception. All right. Special teams. I really think the Cowboys need to do a couple of things better on special teams. I got Brandon Aubrey again, only extra points, kickoff, field position. But I don't understand why the Cowboys don't put Jaden Blue and Kevontae Turpin in the kick game. Jaden Blue had a different speed on that kickoff return that we saw. I think it was the week before last. I would put both of them out there on the kickoff sometimes. Turpin and Blue both run the ball out of the end zone if they get it. I would start mixing Jaden Blue into the kick game. I think it maybe get him acclimated into getting used to going up against NFL teams. These are my thoughts. We'll talk more about these tomorrow. But Dan Quinn will get after Dak. That's going to be his job. He's going to try to get after Dak Prescott. Dak has been very good at getting the ball out. Don't know how successful he'll be. They need to spot and tackle Daniels for short gains because he is going to run the ball. I don't think there's anything they can do. He's going to run the ball. I do believe the Cowboys are going to try. I don't know how much. I think they're going to try to get Jaden Daniels more involved. I think it could be a high-scoring game. I'm still going that Clowney's going to get a sack. Ezra Rocco is going to get a sack. And for some strange reason, I think the Cowboys defense is going to be better, but better is relative. Better is relative. Don't mean they're not going to give up a bunch of yards. They may just give up less yards. And my score prediction for this game, the Cowboys will have to score more than 30 points. I believe the Cowboys are going to score 38 points on the Commanders, somewhere around there. I got the Cowboys beating the Commanders 38-24. If the Cowboys lose because turnovers, things don't go right, it's going to be another close game. And the Commanders, because it's hard to stop the Cowboys. And it's definitely going to be hard to stop them at home with CeeDee Lamb and Turpin back on the field. But if something was to go haywire, similar to what I said with the Carolina Panthers, and it went haywire, Cowboys would probably still score 27 points even on a bad day, 31-24. But I'm rolling with this. I think the Cowboys are going to perform well. I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys 38-24. 38-24. All right, let me read these super chats. Too Tall Jones, he said Zimmer from week 11 to the end of the season was ranked top 5. Yeah, and I think Nolan was similar. Now, Nolan wasn't top 5, but Nolan's defense improved also at the end. No, but again, Too Tall Jones, let's keep this into our minds too. The Cowboys' schedule down the stretch was easier than it was at the beginning. Not saying that Zimmer didn't do some good things, but the competition wasn't as good as it was early on. Yeah, it wasn't as good as it was early on. But Matt Eberflus defense may get better at the end. That's what Jerry is saying. Jerry is saying, and Jerry is hoping. All right, let me read some comments before we get up out of here. Oh, yeah, Atwater was a beast, too. Metris Adams, what's going on? All right, let me see. Let me get some comments before we get up out of here. Charlie Soto, trade Diggs. Man, I'm telling you, I think they're ready to get rid of Diggs. I think they are ready to get rid of Diggs. Chanel said Dan Quinn heavily utilizes nickel coverage. The Cowboys will need to counter this by employing strategies to exploit potential weaknesses and maximize their offensive strengths. Chanel, I can already tell you what he's going to do. He's going to try to run the ball. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to try to do, is run the ball. Yeah, that's it. Attack the Commanders' run defense. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. The Commanders' defense have struggled against the run, particularly against runs to the edge with pitch outs and screen plays to Blue. Chanel, say it for the people in the back. They got to get this dude, Jaden Blue. Brian Schottenheimer got to stop it. Don't tell me you're going to be multiple if you're not going to be multiple. If a team is going to take away you running between the tackles, you got to be able to say, I got an answer for that too. That's not Javonte Williams' game. That is a Jaden Blue style of game. And let's not be pitching it in quick pitches to the wide receivers. No. Use Jaden Blue for this. Katharina Kiss said Diggs will be walking after the game, did Yeah, you said if he anything like doggone, if it's anything like Rico Dowdle. Yeah, protect Dak Prescott. While the Cowboys' offensive line shows potential in run block and pass protection has been inconsistent, particularly with the youth and recent injuries at the tackle position. Yeah. You're not, why not Tony? Okay, I got it. Why not Tony? Yes, sir, I agree with your play calling is key. Bad said Commanders don't have what it takes to stop Lamb Pickens and Ferg and Turpin. No, I don't think so either. They're not going to be able to hold him. Jaden Justin, I'll give you this too. Desperate teams play their best. Cowboys win convincingly 31-20. Yes, sir. Chanel, he said, give them both 12 attempts. I'm with you, man. Give it to them equally. Yeah. 70s fans said the Cowboys are going to run the football and try to run the football. Yes, that's their game. But keep in mind, 70s fan, Jaden Daniels is a huge part of that. The Cowboys are going to have to make sure, if there's ever a game they were going to spy a quarterback, it's got to be Jaden Daniels. He's the most dangerous of all the quarterbacks they've played. He's the most dangerous. Jaden Daniels is dangerous. Had they not turned the ball over, they beat Chicago. And I shouldn't say had they not turned it over, had Chicago not turned them over. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a great game, though, this coming week. Yeah, why not Tony? Rico without a system versus Rico with a system. Rico last year versus Rico in Carolina. Yeah, Rico is tearing it up, boy. Tearing it up. Randy Cadell, I agree. That's a Will McClay. I think that's a Will McClay pick. Will McClay picked Jaden Blue. That's a Will McClay pick. And I think they're telling them, use him. Get him in the screen game. Get him on the edges. Get him the quick pitches. We don't need Jaden Blue. We don't need Jaden Blue to do what Javonte Williams does. We don't need Jaden Blue to run between the tackles. We don't need Jaden Blue to be a power runner. Okay, we get what you like to do, Shotty. But have you not realized that the Commanders are going to go look at the Carolina Panthers tape and they're going to say, okay, we know how to stop Shotty from running now. Well, if you get them edges. Robert Simmons, man, you know what? We put stuff out here. I understand. We want to put this stuff out here about what if Williams get hurt. I understand it. I'm not going to worry about the if on Williams. Because if you'll let Jaden Blue run the ball sometimes, you'll lessen the load from Williams. When you put Jaden Blue in the game, let that be the change. Let's just say, hey, Jaden Blue is in the game. So we're going to run a different style of offense when Jaden Blue hits the game. How about you put Jaden Blue in and say, let's pick up the pace with Jaden Blue. Let's pick up the pace. This is going to be a quicker pace with Jaden Blue because we know we're going to do some pitches. We know we're going to get him in some sweeps. We know we're going to do let's keep it going with Jaden Blue. If you take Javonte Williams out 2 to 3 series, you don't have to worry about him getting hurt. And even then, it don't stop him from getting hurt. But if you want to run him less, give Jaden Blue series and let those series be different. It's not rocket science. You don't play the same when you put him in the game. You don't play the same. It's that simple. Brian said he's going to be multiple. You got to stop saying it and show it. Because you didn't show it against Carolina. No adjustments. You just kept beating your head against the wall. Got to do better. All right. But I appreciate what you're saying, Simmons. But we got to get this man involved. You can't. And nobody's saying he's a first or second or third round. Man, I'm not even buying he's a fifth round. There's a reason he went in the fifth. Man, we got running backs out here that are doing great and they're drafted in the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. Nisi said our secondary needs to step up and don't allow the second string wide receiver to look like T.O. Nisi. What happens if the defense looks good without Trayvon Diggs? Daniel said if Debo don't play Sunday, the Cowboys need to get that W on Sunday. I think Debo playing. I saw him out there. I think if I'm not mistaken, Debo was out there today. The regulator. This is the point that even Stephen Jones is making. If Blue breaks, ain't no catching him. Ain't nobody catching Blue if he breaks. That's got to be their goal. You got to get him in space. Bass, Blue or Turpin, give it to either of them in space. That's all you have to do. Get him in space. Nobody's saying that Jaden Blue needs to be splitting carries with Javonte Williams or any of that stuff. No, but man, you can't have a dude that fast and you telling me you can't figure out a way to use him. Daniel said he got us winning 37-24. Yeah, we about in the same boat then. Chanel said Ja'Cory Krosky, he ran a 4.41 at Pro Day, 60 rushes for 344 yards, average 5.7 with a TD. Yeah, he gonna be good to go. He gonna test out also Diggy Zoo and Kenny Clark. DJ Stripe 1, he said I'm calling 35-14. I like it. I like it. Allen Wilson, Cowboys 27, Skins 24. Katharina Kiss, Cowboys 38-24 also. Randy, 41-34. I can see that type of game too. Fool, I can see that type of game. I can see that type of game too. For sure. The regulator said, all I got to say to the ones who don't think Blue is fast, then go watch his college highlights and I bet you eat your words. I do too. I do too. Again, Brian Schottenheimer, we know what he likes to do. But when they take away what you like to do, you got to be able to do something else. And that's where Shotty really failed last week. Dak Prescott bailed him. Because they couldn't do anything with the run game, and Dak still put up 27. Richard said maybe we will win if they miss that field goal kick again. Boy, let me tell you, the game last year, that first game last year was the craziest one I've seen. Too Tall Jones, appreciate that super sticker. Yes, yes, yes. All right, guys, it is 9 o'clock. I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate y'all rocking with me today, the 70s Fan Show. Yes, sir. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be back tomorrow around 4:30. And we're going to be talking about this again. We'll listen to a couple of those videos you didn't listen to. Hopefully, there'll be some other things that'll come down. And we're going to break this game down even further. But I do think the Cowboys are going to win this game 38-24, and Cowboy fans are really going to be mad because we lost to the doggone Carolina Panthers, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Carolina Panthers go and get absolutely spanked this week if they're playing. But again, appreciate y'all rocking with me. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys when we talk facts. Peace.